2B of Mystmarches. When last we met the characters, uh, two of them had moved through a misttide, a gap in the mists which surround all the realms in this world, and had found themselves on the new soil of a land that they know as Alaska, a savage wild land inhabited by a number of different tribal humans and demi-humans. They proceeded to meet up with the rest of the party on the shore of a lake, and then moved into a lake town known as Kvass, which is ruled by the enigmatic Svetlana, who may be of the same country as two of the parties, and whose previous whose method of producing and making kvass and how she came to rule it is something of a mystery. The party is seeking entry into a series of Iron Age kingdoms known as the Three Rans, and are looking for a contact that they have in Kvass known as Ivar, but managed to embroil themselves in a murder mystery. A tavern keeper reported the death of one of her patrons, a woman known as Vlaka, and the party became embroiled in this, and have now foolishly, perhaps, volunteered for a bag of silver to remove Vlaka's body before Svetlana's patrols discover it and cast a pall over these tavern keepers. When last we met, the party had just encountered a small boy who had broken into the inn, apparently on the orders of somebody who may or may not be one of the assassins who killed Vlaka. The party also arranged for a boatman, Sven, to meet them at the hour of midnight with the aim of ferrying Vlaka perhaps out of the of Kvass, or there was some talk of actually attempting to investigate a safe house which these assassins have taken for their own use. And that is where the scene opens. Very well, you're all in the Queen of Orla Tavern in Kvass. It is, the hour is closely approaching midnight, and you are closeted in at doors behind the walls of the tavern, the sounds of the water lapping below the pilings at your feet, discussing what to do next.
Oh gosh, Roll20's dying.
Yeah, I told you it was kind of laggy.
Is it?
I think you have on Dynamic Fog of War, probably.
Maybe I do. Let me see.
Yeah, I was wondering why everything's dark again.
Let's try that.
Oh, that's much better.
Okay, I hate dynamic lighting, but anyway.
Well, this is dynamic lighting without the enhanced Fog of War.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody's wonking at you.
Indeed, either there's a goose in the stream, or...
So Nuvia kind of looks over and she says, I don't think it'd be a good idea to go there. It seems a bit dangerous.
Of course it's dangerous. That is why we aren't going there. The boy will go there and he will cause a ruckus. When they figure out what is going on, they will double down and defend their little safe house. That way we don't have to worry about them interfering with us when we move out the body.
As long as we ain't going there.
No, we are dropping the body off.
How do you intend to go about this? You've arranged to meet Sven by a nearby dock at midnight, which is an hour's time.
Well, I assume Arthur, he knows the most because he made those arrangements personally.
Indeed. Arto.
Yeah.
You there, Ransman. You made the arrangements, yes?
I've already told you everything. We're meeting at the dock at 12.
Good. Then that is the plan.
How will you transport the body?
I'm assuming
Oh.
we can't sneak around with a corpse over our shoulders.
Maybe we should ask the bartender how they smuggle stuff out of here. If they can successfully smuggle stuff.
Barrels. We could potentially appropriate one.
As you are discussing this, the door opens and Natasha enters. She looks white-faced. They are searching the town. Svetlana has turned out her guard. Already they are searching all the taverns and flop houses.
This complicates matters. They must have had some idea as to who she was if they are... Otherwise, I don't know why they would send the guard looking for a prostitute.
No, it is the symbol. I had it from one of the fisher folk. He said everything was calm. We have many deaths in this town. It is a savage place. But when she heard of the Blood Raven, Svetlana became enraged. She turned out the guard and told them to find out who drew this.
I see. We should try to have anywhere we can hide the body from the guards. Perhaps a space under the floor.
The way she averts her eyes suggests to you that there is indeed such a hiding place. But she licks her lips. Some of the guard know of this hiding place. If they are really searching, it may not be prudent. Outside in the square, you hear sounds of commotion.
What's that noise?
Natasha ducks out and looks back. They are turning out the Black Wolf Inn. They are questioning your friends.
That is unfortunate. Still, the merchant is clever, and the slave is too stupid to know anything. I am more worried about when they arrive here.
It will not be long. We must think quickly.
Well, we know who the
Yes.
culprit is behind the drawings in the first place.
Yes, we do, but
could
he is
potentially run
gone
a dive-
now.
But we could run a diversion. We know where he's going.
That is true. You want to set the boy up?
Well, it's not. It's less about want. It's more about need.
But then they would ask why we know who drew it. Clearly the boy did not draw it for fun, someone hired him, and how does it make us look? We would attract undue attention.
Indeed, you know that given Svetlana's temperament that you've already had witness of, it is quite likely that she will just execute anybody who's even seen any events, which is why it's very unlikely that anyone will come forward and volunteer information.
Hmm.
Well, whatever you're going to do it quickly.
Is there a way out of the tavern, a discreet way? Surely you must have some way to get some of your supplies in and out of here.
She says, there is the trapdoor for dropping barrels. Then they're loaded into boats below. You could use that, but it is wet, I warn you.
Do you have an empty barrel? We could put the body in there.
I will find one.
Suppose wet is better than nothing.
I am not worried about a wet body. The fire will dry it.
Still, doesn't exactly sound very appealing. It
It
smells
is
bad
not.
enough.
But neither is what will happen if they find it.
You make a good point.
Natasha brings in an empty barrel. It is a little bit small, but it will suffice.
Right, I begin to move and pull the body out from under the bed. I kind of turn to Archer and kind of wave him over, kind of asking him to help me with it.
Fine, I shall help you. No, yes, it is quite heavy.
Yes, more so than I had expected. Still, no big problem.
Out in the square, you now hear the sounds of people talking and complaining as the guards roust out the nosebag, which is a feed place where people buy supplies just across the square from you. And it is apparent that the Queen of Orla is next to the tavern in which you reside.
Hey, you need to be quick about it. It's taking too long.
Right, move the body out of the trap door. Once it is out there, under the docks, we can go to our boat. We can go under the city and we can recover it and head to the shore.
Very well. The trapdoor proves to be behind the bar. You now have control of the barrel and Vlaka's body.
How cold is the water?
You know that that in this land, even in high summer, the edge of the lake will begin to freeze after nightfall because it's quite cold. There's a very big day-night temperature variation.
Okay. By the way, I can only see the room we're in right now.
Yeah.
Is that purposeful? Okay. All right. I was just wondering. Right. Well, let's drop it down into the trap door. Leave it to float for a bit in the barrel. We can go pick it up with the boat later.
Aye.
All right, so I think that's what we're gonna do.
Agreed. Vlaka and Barrel splash out into the night under the tavern, and Natasha goes back to cleaning the bar, but looks very nervous.
Is it visible? Is there a light source lighting the barrel in the water?
New York gets to work. Double checking.
There's a tiny amount of dim light just from one of the windows in the bar.
Nuvera gets to work double checking the wall to make sure it doesn't have any more blood or red paint or whatever on it.
Nice. Well, there is a nice message written here, if you remember.
Oh, I thought it was on
Yeah.
this top wall.
Aw.
That's what I was saying. She's gonna get the cleaning. Hey, come over here and
Natasha.
help me with it.
Natasha hurriedly rushes in. They're coming.
Hey, we got to get this clean.
You hear the door bang.
Arta aids in cleaning.
Alright, well, someone's gotta run
Yeah.
the session. I'm gonna make my. Yelena's gonna start.
I look at I look at Yelena. Come with me. It would look suspicious if we're all in the same room. We'll go into one of the others.
I thought that's exactly. But perhaps we should stay in the main inn to
Your
run
tavern
diversion.
Where are your patrons?
Come with me
It has
to
to
the other
be
room
here.
now.
Alright. Oh lord, I can't see anything.
Yeah, we're gonna head into one of the other bedrooms.
Very well. Let me remove the dynamic lighting a second.
If you set it up, you should be able to open the door with. Oh, I do
Yep.
that.
You should be able to pass through the doors anyway. I haven't
Right,
restricted
let's just-
movement.
Oh, I see.
Bing, bada boom.
So, Arta and Nuvera are helping Natasha wipe the walls, and you two are basically camping out in another room. When you come in this room, you find a small pool of blood from where Vlaka's body was laid for some time.
We should probably move the bed. Rosie, quick help.
Let's go now. I go to move the bed.
Oh no, the new
Help me
lamps.
with it.
I don't know how much help I'll be, but I'll try.
I can bear most of the weight, but I need you to at least help me balance it.
Make me strength
Pardon.
checks, both of you.
Oh no.
By the way, what you can hear outside is that's abysmal.
Oh no.
You actually drop the bed loudly, and it makes a big
Ow,
scrape.
Ow. My pinky.
Pay attention to chat, because that's what you can hear in the next room.
Oh no. By the way, why do I have control over something
Okay.
called?
How about my check, Stephen?
Yeah, you easily move the bed over quickly. I actually think that's not a token, so I can't move it, but we'll say it's over.
Yeah, Stephen, I've got control over someone called Maliki of Furnace Grove for some reason.
Oh yeah, I know why. That's because he was away last session and everybody had. Let me just change that permission. Don't worry.
Quick,
Continue
sit on
while
the
you're doing-
bed. Sit on the bed now. I turn to her.
Okay, she's just gonna just sit there looking inconspicuous.
Then I walk over. And immediately, with my fist, I slam against the wall and begin to shout. You stupid ones! What did I tell you about messing with my things?
One of the guardsmen approaches. Oh, ho ho! What have we here? Domestic? He looks in behind you. Make me a deception check, please, Rosamir.
Just okay.
Mhm.
never mind.
What's up?
No, I thought Yelena was supposed to be disguised as a boy.
Yeah, I
She
thought so
is.
too.
Oh well, I mean, it makes sense if. Well, yeah, no, it's just one guardsman knowing this. It's fine.
Very well.
That's Gucci. I mean, I don't think it's uncommon to disguise yourself as a man if you're a refugee.
Nope. Oh, I see how it is, says the guard. You should keep your woman on a better leash, man. What kind of man are you? He says, thumping a finger into your chest so hard it feels like a spear thrust.
You're telling me. Too young, too willful. She'll learn. You know how the young ones are.
Yelena sticks out a tongue at him.
Spirited, eh?
Careful, woman.
How much for a turn with her?
Yeah. She would probably bite off your manhood.
I like this woman more and more every minute.
She attempts to throw one of her boots at him.
It sails past the guard's ear. I'm in love. Jan, we've got a live one in here, my friend. Another guard comes and fixes himself on the doorpost, leering in at you. She's not much of a looker, Rolf, but spirited, I see.
You keep looking at me like that, and this time the shoe's gonna hit.
She bites, it looks like. They wink at each other lasciviously. So, my friend, how much?
Perhaps we can work out an arrangement at a later time. I think with the way things are, it would be best if we got on with our respective business for the time being. But why don't you come back tomorrow or something and we can discuss?
The two men, it is a date, my friend, and your comment about getting on with their business suddenly seems to have sobered both men up, and they are reminded of what they're supposed to do. They become more businesslike. So, have you seen anything strange happening in Kvass in the last evening? We have heard reports of strange drawings and blood. What do you know about this?
Nothing, I'm afraid. I have been here the whole evening.
I'll bet you have.
Well, it was a very cold and wet night.
Oh, he
Got to
says.
keep warm somehow.
We better get out of here, Rolf. Not before we search. You remember what Svetlana says? He says as they walk away. We're doing double rounds. If the other crew find it, and we haven't, well, I think our liver might be on Svetlana's plate tomorrow. Good point. They knock at the door where Arta and Nuvira are hastily scrabbling at the wall. Can you both have given me a general check to see how well you've done?
What's her
Just roll a d20 and your dex, please. Let's have one for your hostess. You've just about managed to scrub everything off the wall. There are a few flecks of red, but fortunately the bed is over the front, so you all plump down on it, and and Natasha picks up her tray just as the door swings open. A stocky man in chainmail saunters into the room with the swagger of a true warrior. He smells rank of beer and of fish fat. So, who are these, Natasha? They're just two guests, my friend. Oh, is that so? This one looks like a little girl.
Aye, she is my daughter.
You don't look very like her.
She took after her mother, fortunately for her.
You have good sense of humor for Ransman, no? I like you, big man. He says, most of your kind. Piss poor in the laughing department.
I travelled more than typical Ransman.
Oh, have you now? Nice! Anywhere exotic?
Well, unless you count this town as exotic.
I don't, frankly. It's a shithole. Sorry, little girl, for my language, but, well, you probably don't understand me anyway. Does she speak, Irish? Whatever this tongue is that they have us babbling in? He looks at the little girl. Da, 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 he says.
She just like kind of stares at him and then tilts her head a little bit.
I think she's shy. Even if she could talk to you, I don't think she would.
Oh, what a shame. Don't worry, little girl. The big man won't hurt you. Are you looking to sell her?
No, I am not looking to sell my daughter. How can I help you, sir?
You'd be surprised how many roundsmen do. Let's see now. Well, I'll put it in bold terms. Somebody has been daubing things on the walls of this shithole town, and frankly, my mistress Svetlana is not very pleased. I think eggs are going to roll, and I don't mean figuratively. So, have you seen anything?
I'm afraid I haven't. I've been in here with my daughter, as the bartender will attest.
I see. Well, make me a deception check.
Nah.
If I didn't know better, Ansman, I'd say you were mildly lying to me, but I assume it's about the daughter. Give her a good one for me. And he strides out. Oh, come on, Hjon. Maybe we can talk something out of the whores at the Black Bear. What do you say, my friend? They slap each other on the back. As they leave, you notice through the open doorway that they hold out their hand and Neva drops a coin purse into it. And the two soldiers saunter out winking and whistling.
I'm sorry.
A pleasure doing business with you. You hear Rolf say.
Sorry about that, Nivira.
It's fine. I don't like them though. They don't seem very nice.
No, they're not. Fortunately, they have left. I wonder how the other two did.
There was something strange about them.
Sorry?
There was something strange about him. He had a touch of something.
Touch of something?
Yes. He was a little bit weird. She sort
Are
of
you sure?
like takes a glance out the window and then she like whispers into your ear and she says, he had that, you know? It's what the druids say. I could see it.
What is a man like that being a guard in a place like this? Or is he...
Natasha looks at you. Trust me, he is one of the better ones. And she goes out quietly. Thank you for helping us, stranger. You have no idea what would have happened to us if they had found that body in here, even if we had nothing to do with it.
Miss Lady, I think that man was sick or something.
What do you mean, child?
I don't know, it's just a feeling. I get it sometimes when I see people.
Shh, she looks at you. Don't ever say that in this town, child. The one thing Svetlana fears more than anything else is those who can see. Keep it quiet. Don't even tell your companions.
He kind of takes a gulp and nods.
You, roundsman, get this girl out of this town as soon as you can. There is great danger for you here. And I don't just mean that dead girl in the barrel. Neva, have you fainted again?
Of course he has.
Poor Neven can't catch a break.
Poor old sod.
He needs to go. He needs to retire after this. I think we've made him lose like 10 years.
20.
20 years lost through stress. Oh no.
Yeah. He looks like a 60-year-old, but he's actually 22.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think people were like this back then.
Ah. Well, I mean,
Life was tough back then.
pretty sure I wouldn't have, been exposed to this kind of a crudeness.
Were your girl?
Well, not to
I
this
don't know. Was she
extent.
Steven?
Not to this extent.
Probably different types of cruelty, more betrayal
Mm.
and skullduggery, but actual physical
Right.
degradation is probably not what an ovate would have witnessed.
No.
I mean, in some of the holds, in Vlaka, which is possibly where you two come from. I haven't decided yet, but essentially, the Magi are never allowed to see normal people. If a normal person is caught on the stairs, because the citadel is divided into areas where the ovates and the Magi go, and the normal folk go. And if the normal folk are seen by the Magi, they're put to death. So they make very, very careful. So it's possible Yelena has never seen a normal person before. Depends on how sheltered her upbringing was.
So she would have literally only ever been around like other ovates, her
Yep.
grandmother,
The
maybe
guards,
slaves
and
and
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The
Okay.
guards, and so essentially, it's like the citadel is almost supposed to run by magic, as it were. But it's not magic. It's the labor of thousands of unseen people who are not allowed to even be acknowledged. So
Yeah, like a lot of servants back in the day, like how they would
yes,
have like literal hidden corridors and whatnot in the house just so servants wouldn't use the main halls to get around.
indeed. But in a citadel, it's a stage further. So to actually have one of the magi in your sight is an offence punishable by death. So as you can imagine, the servants are extremely nervous. It's why slaves in Kashgar don't tend to have a very long lifetime, because they're not used to that way of life. So they make mistakes. Very well.
Right. I
There's
turned to Yella. Go ahead. Pardon me.
That's fine. There's another half an hour before you're due to meet with Sven. The barrel is floating outside.
Right. Well, I think before we leave this place, I should at least take care of the payment. I go out to meet with Neva and Natasha. Right. We will leave in half an hour and remove the body from here. You should know that there is still a bit of blood from the body hidden under the bed in the other room. We were able to distract them, however, but you might want to take care of it when you get the chance.
These Never's nerves I'm not sure I can take care of, but I thank you, stranger. You have done us a great service, and here is the silver we promised you, and some extra as well for your trouble.
I thank you. We
You,
may
you,
have to leave. Oh, go ahead.
you feel the reassuring weight of the coin purse. There is probably about 60 silver in there, which is a lot.
I take it and kind of just bounce in my hand a bit and then just nod to her. I thank you. We may have to leave this place for a time. It might be a bit too dangerous to stay. However, when and if we return, I will be sure to come back and offer you my patronage. Not least of which because this seems to be the only decent place in town.
There is a problem. If you leave, and the guards become aware of it, next time you are here, be wary. They may look for you. And that child, she is especially noticeable.
Yes. A child of Iran sticks out far too much in a place like this. Still, I fear our actions tonight may have dragged us into something which we do not want to be involved in. Nothing good comes of interfering in the political affairs of these arenas.
There we are in great agreement. I only hope that your disappearance will not trigger even more trouble for us, but we understand that you must leave. If that body is found, there will be grave consequences.
Yes. I thank you once more for your...
She says, when you're ready.
Of course, I will go get the others.
I
I'm
think
gonna
you,
go.
she says, forgive me, but I think you might have to leave out of the hatch. They may be watching the front.
Do you know how we can get to the docks from there?
You will have to swim.
I see. How cold is the water?
Very at this time of night, but not enough to kill, as long as you light a fire quickly.
I see. Thank you. I'm going to go knock on the door to Arthur and Minerva.
Okay. Arthur turns to the window behind him. How do you move?
There you see a small cloaked figure pushing his way in. It appears to be the boy who you earlier sent on his way. Hello there.
Why have you returned?
He draws back his hood, and you see that despite it being, despite him wearing almost exactly the same clothing, so that you could easily mistake him, it's actually a different child. The spider sent me. They told me to tell you, whoever they is cleared out. He said, give you this. The boy proffers you a piece of paper.
Sorry, you broke up there, Steve.
The boy proffers you a piece of paper. Paper is unusual in this land. It's a strange thing, certainly for fisher folk to have. Anyway, I'm gone, says the boy. He said there'd be a coin.
Okay. And he hands him a silver.
Right you are! And the boy dives through the window with a kind of alacrity that you would associate with a monkey. He's soon lost in the darkness.
Well, that's another silver gone.
What does it say?
The writing is in Voss, so you can't read it, Arthur, unless you speak that language.
I do not understand this language. Yes, come in. And I roll up the paper.
I open the door. Rosmer opens the door and kind of looks inside.
Ah, Rosmir. One of those spiders has returned. A different lad. Gave me this. Do you read this language?
Yes. Hold on, this is Vas.
Actually, Nivira,
It
do you think...
says. I'm good. Yeah, It says.
I,
I try to. You speak Vas, yeah.
Navira does, but she can't read or write, so.
Okay. I'm asked. Yeah. Does Arthur speak Vas? No, he doesn't. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
No,
So I'll try to
definitely.
translate it to. So I'll translate it to the common language. It says something along the lines of yes. Yes. Since I'm having to translate it, I'll do a rough translation rather than read it directly. I believe we've been duped into thinking the assassins were here. According to this, whoever it was who hired out those symbols drawn were not the people to whom the motif belonged.
Now that you come to think of it, Rosamir, you have never heard of the ravens acting outside of Kashgar ever, although there is no knowing what such assassins would do if they were given the order. But it is not something you've heard of in the past, so it suddenly clicks that that was what was bothering you earlier on.
Yes. It says whoever this was meant for will be at the Hunter's Lodge.
You and Arthur both know this. It is a wooden stockade erected originally by Ransmen who were visiting this area and were essentially fur trappers. But it has now been taken over by Kossars mostly, and it is again a fur trading post.
I see. Perhaps that is where we should head next. Once we have gotten out of the city, of course.
Aye.
Who gave you this?
I told you, the little spider lad like the one we caught earlier.
Did he want coin?
Yes, he did want coin.
Here, I flip him a silver piece. That will cover the cost. These boys may be useful later on. Quickly, we must go. We'll have to swim to the boat. Perhaps we can grab the barrel and use it to help keep us afloat as we take it over there.
We can't swim in that water, it's freezing.
We'll just have to light a fire as soon as we're done. You have any torches? The city is crawling with guards tonight. There's no way we travel through its streets.
If only I could contact Sven.
What about the window? Like the boys did it. We could do the same thing.
I don't think that would work all that well for me. I point down to my limping leg. I can swim just fine, but climbing is a bit of a different issue.
Well, maybe we could combine the two? One of us could go over to Sven, bring the boat underneath the trapdoor. The water is cold enough that it would put us at great risk.
I can sneak over.
Can you, child? Then do that. Here, I hand her a silver piece. Give this to the boatsman so that he comes over here. He might need some convincing.
I can do that.
You hear a cheer go up from somewhere away in the over the water in the edge of on the other edge of the town.
A what?
Just a cheer. It's like, "Hooray!"
Vera will stick her head out the window and see if she can.
It's not out that window. It came from the direction of the main market.
Oh. I guess she'll come out and she'll say, "Hey, what was that?" She looks to
Do not
Natasha.
worry.
Yelena, are you there?
Yep, I'm just a person. Well, Nuvera, I don't think you should look at this. It's not something someone so young should see.
I want to see it though.
Nuvera, just trust me on this, alright?
You see that over the docks where you entered, which is towards the southern part of Kvass, there's quite a lot of torches blazing and a big crowd has gathered. And suddenly you see a head still spurting blood hoisted into the night air. It has a strange looking markings on its face or something. You can't quite make them out at this distance.
Nuvera sort of diverts her gaze and she says, well, actually, she just sort of holds her tongue, but her eyes, like, they don't give the sort of reaction you'd expect. It's almost more like recollection than anything else.
Arthur puts his hand on Nuvera's shoulder in an attempt to comfort her.
Great, another piece of unpleasantry from this godforsaken town. Well, Rosie,
It
what are
is
we
no
doing next?
different than what would happen back home.
Well, back home.
This
I don't know
arena
how-
has to rule through fear.
If you
Still,
wouldn't...
this... Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, sorry. I thought you were finished, but you weren't. So you finish first.
Okay. However, I will say that this particular one seems to have quite insatiable bloodlust in her. Half her killings don't even seem entirely pragmatic.
One would wonder if she was a mad woman.
Actually, they seem entirely in keeping with most of the Tsarinas you've ever met. Their rules are cruel in the extreme and extremely also arbitrary. That seems to be one feature of most Tsarinas. Many Ovates aren't like that, but it seems that once they become elevated, the fear and the fear of assassination and of losing their power eventually, well, it sort of drives them mad, it seems. So
Cruelty is one thing, just chopping heads willy-nilly is another thing.
yes,
It keeps everyone on edge.
yes.
No one would dare to even speak out against her for fear of retribution, much less plot on her life. If anyone can die, then everyone has to be on guard, trying to please her at every moment. Her wrath.
Yeah, Elena looks really disgusted by this. Well, that's one easy way to make sure your people hate you.
Yes,
But
but
they
they
fear-
fear you.
Indeed, your friend has the right of it, says Natasha. Fear is sometimes more powerful even than love.
To quote Caligula, let them hate so long as they fear.
Well, let's hope that this fear doesn't drive the people to kill her later on.
When you
Like,
think back to the subtleties of that note that you've just read, Rothamir, it seems to you that whoever wrote it intended indeed for the excesses of Svetlana to actually work in their favor. So there may be wisdom in Yelena's words.
True. It is perhaps safest if a ruler is both loved and feared. But that is a hard balance to achieve, and in the case of the Tsarinas, fear is much easier and much safer, as love does not guarantee security from those who would seek your post.
that we agree on.
But enough of these musings. Child, can you get the boatsman? We must
haven't
be
them.
gone from the city.
If it's all the same to you, I would rather I myself knew Vera.
What did you say? I couldn't hear you.
My voice connection is apparently a bit shit at the moment. Sorry.
It's okay just then. It was just in that moment.
Okay. What did I say? If
I
it's
think you were saying that you wanted to accompany Nuvera, if I am correct.
if it's all the same to you, I'd rather put myself at risk than you knew Vera.
I can't let you do that. I already seen it.
You've already seen it.
I need to go do it.
It would be easy for a child to climb down there, not so much an adult.
Still, we cannot send her on her own. That would be suicide.
Not necessarily if she can keep her head down and not be noticed. Are you good at sneaking, child?
I know what I'm doing. I just got to
You
climb over
see?
there.
Let the child do it. I trust she can succeed. And if not, then we swim.
Wait, does Yelena even know how to swim?
You can grab the barrel. Right, there's no time to waste. Go, child.
Ate, I'm gonna need the heavy stuff with you.
Right. We await your return.
He's gonna, I guess, probably go down to... She's gonna look out this window and see if anyone is, like, out there.
All you can see is...
Ooh, you're like far distant, Stephen.
It's because my microphone is way out of the way. All you can see is dark water churning beneath you and a little bit of light from that window.
Okay, well, she's gonna try to make her way up.
Very well. You pull the window casement open and pull back the shutters and find just the night's air causing your hair to stand on end because it's pretty cold.
Yeah.
The soft caress of it ruffles your clothing, and you suddenly feel exposed.
I guess she's gonna try to climb up in the way that she's seen the other, like the boys do it already.
Oh, were you going to try and go across the roof?
That seems like, unless there seems like an easier way to her, I don't know if there would be a more simplistic way to do it.
Indeed. Very well. Give me a athletics check, please.
Okay, here we go.
Very well. You manage to pull yourself up monkey-like, such that the spiders might envy your dexterity. You find yourself on the tiles of the roof.
She's gonna, I guess, try to make her way over to the area where I think it was south, like over here. That Archer pointed out.
Give me an intelligence check.
13.
You believe that Arta pointed out a dock in this direction.
Okay, she's gonna head in that direction.
Make me a stealth check.
Oh boy.
Okay. You move across the roof. Fortunately, it is close to the beginning of the month when there is no moon, and the sky is veiled tonight in a bank of cloud, so there is little light. You move over the tiles, which prove, instead of being ceramic, to be just wooden shingles made of poplar, black poplar, as your people use. They're slippery, and some of them are covered in moss and algae. At one point you slip and you actually fly down the roof and into a valley between three roofs, and make a little bit of noise as you do so. But fortunately the guards are quite distant now, and the crowd that had earlier gathered down by the docks has dispersed. You do see one of the guards look back from around the corner near the dock where you are aiming for, puzzled, but he returns to the alleyway where he was, and you think you can hear him and his companion moving away. Very well. Move yourself to where you're going to try and make the jump, I assume, because you've got to jump across a gap, and it's quite a wide one.
Well, she's gonna check if... Does it look like there's anyone down, like, over in this area?
So you're actively checking. You're actively checking.
Yeah, she's gonna take a moment to look, because she's trying to decide whether it'd be better to try to jump or just to climb down, and... Because it's not too far, I don't think.
Gotcha. You can see no sign of anybody.
Okay. She's gonna try to, like, climb down then.
You reach the edge of the roof and find the shingles are poorly pinned there. So it'd actually be quite difficult to dangle and drop, and it's quite a long drop.
I guess she's gonna try to go for the jump then.
Very well. Where are you going to jump from? Peak or trough? Or valley?
I guess she's gonna try to jump from not the peak, but like close to it. Like kind of like this way.
Yep.
Because the peak is, I've been on roofs before, and you don't want to be on like the peak of it, because then you can't stand right.
Give me an athletics check, please. Or an acrobatics probably also might apply.
I have both.
Whichever.
I guess I'll use the acrobatics since it's higher. Ooh.
Very well. You run and jump, and at the last minute, one of the shingles comes off and falls into the ground below you. It splashes into the water, and you just about grab the edge of the roof, but you are actually slipping quite quickly. One of the tiles comes off in your hand, and you are just basically attached to a piece of wood that holds on the end of the fascia. Can you give me a strength check, please?
Oh no.
You just about manage to pull yourself up and roll on, shedding several more tiles. As you do so, you hear a dog barking in the distance.
I guess she's gonna try to like make her way to the other side of the roof and then lay flat.
As you do so, as you move across the peak of this roof, you actually observe a boat making its way into the dock. You also see, however, the two guards are coming back to see what has made the disturbance. I'm telling you, I heard something. Drunk as usual.
Oh gosh.
I'm very offended by that. If I wasn't, well, if you weren't right, I would kill you for this.
I guess Nubia is gonna keep kind of, again, like kind of lay over there for a bit until hopefully they pass by.
Give me a stealth check. The two guards are coming closer, but they've definitely not seen you yet. In fact, they haven't even thought to look up. Maybe we'll find ourselves another knife here. That'll be fun. I want to get me an ear. Very well, move yourself.
He's gonna kind of like lay down on the other side of this.
Right, you now realise that if the guards resume their normal duty, when they turn around, they'll see Sven nosing into the dock.
Oh.
You have a clear view of him. The only reason they haven't seen is because they're still investigating what the hell's going on.
Well, I guess she's gonna try to make her way over there as quickly as she can without being too noisy.
Hey, look here. Some of the shingles have come off. Well, that is strange. There is no wind tonight. They begin looking around, trying to find the source of this. It could be one of those damn kids again. You know, the sneaky ones. We should tell Svetlana. She'll sort the little bastards out. Come on. I'm sweet on the girl in the bear and salmon. Let's get back there and see if we can extort some beer.
Once Nubia gets close enough, she'll begin like, as in a low voice as she can, kind of like psst, psst, towards Sven.
Let's see if he notices. Sven sees you and quickly pulls a tarpaulin over his head, just as the two guards walk into view. It's a big boat for Ivar. It is. Still, the bear and salmon calls, my friend. Let's make a luck roll. Yep, you're lucky. The guards are obviously too hot for the beer and mead that they might extort, and so they ignore the boat. I wonder if we can get that dwarf Thumbin into a game of dice. You know what they say about dwarves and gold. You hear their voice disappearing off. Hey you, old man! What are you doing hiding in this alleyway? You hear a whining voice, but you can't hear what it says. And then a few minutes later, a splash. Waste of space anyway.
Oh gosh. Nubia just kind of goes over and motions towards Sven.
You know, Rolf, that's what I like about this town. Justice is swift.
Oh no.
Sven unfurls the tarpaulin he was hiding under and looks up. He makes a motion as if to ask, is it all clear? You can barely see him in the murk.
She kind of takes a glance around, and then assuming it's okay, she nods.
Sven begins poling his boat. Are you motioning him where to go?
Yeah, she's motioning him sort of in the direction. I think she's kind of hoping that she can maybe climb down onto his boat off the roof. But
It's
we'll
like 20 feet.
Oh, it's like 20 feet. Okay. Then I guess she's just going to kind of sneak back over.
As Sven is poling his boat, you actually see a barrel floating past
really?
him, and you realise with horror that Vlaka's body has moved
Oh, she...
right past,
Wait,
drifted.
get that! Get it?
He reaches over the side and pulls the barrel in, and then almost falls out the boat when he sees what it is. This was not a part of the deal. And you see his cheeks colour hotly. He shakes his head vehemently, but continues.
Where's the barrel gone?
I just moved it.
Oh, so he just took the body out and not the barrel.
Yeah, he's put it under a tarp.
Okay.
She whispers, she says, the secret door under the Queen of Order? You know what it is?
It appears that Sven might indeed know where it is, because he goes straight for it. In the tavern, you all hear distinctly the sound of a thump, thump, thump.
You see, I told you the child could do it. I'm gonna walk over to the trap door.
Natasha says, "Be careful, it could be a trick. But the knocking pattern was right. I think it is Sven the boatman."
Right. I nod to her and I open the trap door and look out.
Down in the dark waters, you see below you a coal-black face. It appears that Sven has been camouflaging his skin, and but you can see anger written on it, etched on his features.
What's wrong?
He looks up at you, and you see he has a loaded crossbow beside him. "And who are you?" "Oh yes, you are the folk I brought over. Where's the big man that I made the bargain with?"
Arthur
there
pokes
you
his
are.
head out.
"There you are. Well, are we going to do this or not?"
Indeed. Come, Yelena. And,
"I can't say
Arthur-
I'm too impressed with your addition," he says. "I'm afraid the price just went up."
Of course. But but I'm sure you understand why I did not tell you.
Wait, you did not tell him?
Natasha, never.
"Don't be angry with your friend," says Sven. "I wouldn't have come if he had."
Fair enough. Well, it's too late to turn back now, boatsman. Let's go.
Natasha, never. Stay safe. Good luck. And thank you.
You climb through the hole and get on the boat. The boat rocks unsteadily, but Sven has expertly positioned the boat between the pilings, and it is apparent from where that you see on the ropes that this is not something that he has done. This is not the first time he's done this.
Oh, and Arthur is the last to go down, and I don't know how much he took off you, but that's all I have. And Arthur puts his 5 silver on the counter and jumps down.
Very well. Natasha slams the trapdoor closed behind you with unseemly haste, and you land adroitly in the boat, and Sven soon has you poling off into the darkness.
Nuvira.
You
Where
notice Nuvira is scrabbling around on top of the roof. She appears to be trying to catch something. You can't see what it is. Nuvira, make me an attack roll. Dex-based.
I'll just use this, even though it's obviously not.
Yep.
You stab it. What are you doing? Arthur says under his breath. As quiet.
The bird, which appears to be some kind of seagull, tries to take it to wing, but you catch hold of one of its wings, pin it down to the shingles, and then you grab hold of its beak. The beast struggles for a second, but it doesn't react at all like a normal creature, and it just looks at you.
Can she, like, snap its neck? Like, she has the Outlander background, so I think she'd know.
Very well. Make me a damage roll.
What would the damage be? Isn't it just 1?
D4. D4 plus your strength.
Okay. 1.
Very well. You roll the creature over and attempt to break its neck, but only succeed in ruffling large amounts of feathers and straining it. The bird now panics and attempts to escape.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh
It
dear.
fails. You still have hold of it. Do you wish to continue?
Yeah, she's gonna try again.
Right. Make me a dex save, because you're doing all this on the side of a very, very slippery thing.
Gosh.
And the markings actually show that it's actually... Yeah, you slide a little bit down the roof.
Sven, move the boat over there, pointing towards the Nuvira.
Sven moves the boat.
Actually struggling with a bird.
This is
I'll
making
tap
a
it.
lot of noise. What the hell is she doing? We can get food when we're on land. Is your little girl crazy? Make me an attack
Little-
roll.
A little bit.
I do not understand, I tell this one. Are all the roundsmen like this?
Are you attacking with a dagger, Nuvira?
No, I don't have a dagger.
Okay. Very well. You grab hold of the creature and grab hold of its beak and pull as hard as you can. Make me a damage roll. D4 again.
Arthur tries to position
The
himself.
creature's neck snaps, and do you keep it or what do you do with it?
If the boat's underneath her, she'll toss it down onto the boat.
She tosses down a large seagull, and you're all surprised by how big it is.
Oh.
It's quite an albatross-sized beast.
Oh,
It flops into the boat, and blood exudes out of its mouth.
Mm.
Ew,
And-
ew.
Arthur positions himself to catch Nuvira.
Isn't it like 20 feet, you said?
Yeah.
I think she's just gonna dive into the water, even though she doesn't particularly want to.
Mm.
So you're going to jump in the water. Right.
Yeah, like she doesn't want to, but I think she's probably gonna be too afraid of jumping onto the boat, whether Artur is there or not.
Okay.
Nuvira, no, you make too much noise.
I don't know if this is safe. She'll, I guess, try to hop into Archer's arms. Oh gosh.
This is going to be so good.
Archer is going to be a wonderful pillow.
Arthur, give me a dex check, please. Dex save.
Oh, Dex, okay.
You manage to grab hold of Nuvira. She she almost goes through the bottom of the boat because she's got quite a lot of velocity by the time she lands on you. But you just about manage to brace your knees, and the boat doesn't quite turn over. At the back end, Sven looks. If I had known this was going to be this exciting, you can find someone else to boat you.
Nuvira
This is
just
great.
she whispers over to the others and she says, "That bird, it wasn't that."
Well, I mean, we can see that. Yelena's just looking kind of flustered at all of this happening. Massive bird, and then Nuvira dropping down.
No, you don't understand. It wasn't that. It was. She sort of like thumbs her chest and she says, "You don't understand. It wasn't from. It wasn't normal."
Well,
Sven is having no more of this. He's already quit the lights of Kvass, and they are, as you're discussing this, the night breeze caressing each of your hair and causing you to draw your cloaks around you because it's quite a chill wind. The lights of Kvass are receding in the distance, and he appears to be poling north and then slowly heading east.
Where is that island we were meeting that woman?
We're meeting her on shore.
Excellent.
Which shore were we meeting her on? Just because it's been 2 weeks.
The eastern shore, she said.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's right. Yeah.
That's where we're headed, yes?
Yes, the eastern shore.
Well, if not, we ask Sven to go there.
Very well. Well, Sven is poling east. Well, you leave the lights of Kvass behind you, and you hear the sounds of raucous laughter drifting over the water towards the darkened water. But none of you can almost see your hands in front of your faces, and you have no idea how Sven is navigating, save those of you who have any form of dark vision, which I don't think is any of you actually, is it?
Nope.
No.
I think we're all humans.
Mhm.
Very well. As you pole through the darkness, something bumps the boat, and as you pass, you actually find that there's an old man lying with a dagger stuck in his back, floating in the water like a sack. He appears to have drifted away from Kvass.
You heard him, didn't they? You killed him. That's commanded.
great.
She turns to
Another
Sven.
corpse.
Wait. She's gonna try to reach over and pull out the dagger if she can.
Very well. You grasp the dagger as hard as you can and pull, and it comes free with a sick sucking sound. The body turns face over, and you see the dead white face of an old man. His eye is still staring at you accusingly, but you have his dagger. So.
She looks over nervously at the bird.
Mm-hmm.
And then she looks to the others and she says, "That was him, I think."
So,
What are you on about, child?
are you saying the bird killed that old man?
No, the man was the bird and the bird was the man. You don't understand that, do you?
Well, they have...
A bird and a man are two different things.
No, he died and then he became the bird. Don't you know how this works? She takes the bird and she cradles it and she wraps it in some cloth and she says, "We need to eat this. It wouldn't be right to waste it."
You hear waves breaking on the shore, and Sven poles the boat into what looks like a rocky beach. As soon as the boat hits the gravel, he adroitly runs along the rail past all of you and pulls the boat out of the water. Right, that's me done. He unceremoniously dumps the bird and the boat and the body, rather, of Laka on the shoreline. Look, I don't know what happened here, and I don't want to know. All I want is my payment. He looks at you.
Hmm.
My agreement was with you, Ransman, and your kind are known for honoring their debts.
Indeed it was. Rosmir,
How much did you promise him?
how much did I promise him?
I think you promised him 15 silver. He wants 30 now.
Well, if he's asking for double, it's 30 now. How much-
30. All you did was pilot the boat.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. All I did was pilot the boat. But if we'd got caught, we'd have all ended up like the round ear, like the knife ear, dead. I'd say that's quite a bit, wouldn't you?
Pay the man, Rosmir. You are in charge of party funds.
20 gold.
He's paid 30. Were it not for him, God knows what would happen to us.
The body would have drifted away, and they would have been none the wiser.
He looks at you. Did you not know there's a curfew? If we had been caught out of doors, even without the body, we could all have been faced execution. Especially me.
Tell you what, 25. And in exchange, when the day breaks and you do not have to worry about any curfews, I want you to go back and recover our other friends and bring them here.
I'll do it, but for the remaining 5 silver you owe me.
Fine. I hand him the 30. Actually, could I try to roll persuasion?
You can.
Okay. Alright, yeah, I'm going to do that if I can.
I'm giving him a heck of a modifier because he's quite annoyed.
Yeah.
Very well. He lowers his price by 5 silver, but he looks disgruntled.
I hand him the 25. And I describe to him the others and give him their names. My retainers.
Don't worry. Don't forget, I ferried you out here across the lake earlier. I know what most of them look like, especially the
Good.
sweet talking one.
Good.
I'll find them.
Mister? Can I
What
ask
can
you
I do for
something?
you?
There's a man, his name's Rolf. You know him?
Yeah, he's one of the guards, yes?
Yes. He's I died with this. She kind of reaches into her like clothes and she pulls out this sort of necklace and it has like a few teeth of various animals and it also has like a rabbit's foot on the end of it and she holds it out to Sven and she says, I don't think he's a good person, but he don't deserve what's coming to him. Give him this, maybe it'll bring him some luck.
You're a strange child, but I'll do as you bade. This Rolf does not deserve your kindness, but who knows? It is not for us to judge other men sometimes. He takes the rabbit's foot.
He gives him a smile and then steps off the boat.
Very well. Sven hurriedly poles off and disappears into the darkness, and you notice he is not going back towards Kavas. Very well. You are on a benighted lake shore. The water is crashing against the sides in the night wind, and all around you are pine trees clustered thickly. There is the smell, a heavy smell of resin in the air, and pine needles underfoot. And there are great gouges and outcrops of rocks that have formed strange shapes that you would swear were moving at the edges of your vision. But it is entirely and completely black.
She'll go over and take the corpse of the bird, and she'll say, "We need to eat it tonight."
Very well. I wouldn't mind a light anyway.
Are you going to
How
light a
long-
torch?
I have a lamp with oil.
Mm-hmm.
That'd probably be better than a torch, which is gonna draw a lot of attention.
Yep, I agree with you.
So she'll light it, and she'll like a blanket. She'll wear it as like a cloak and hold it over, so it'll give like enough light to see, but it's not like broadcasting their location to everyone.
The dim light from the swiftly kindled lamp seems like a laser beam to all of your eyes, lancing through the darkness and sending flickering shadows that turn the rock faces into leering giants. And you move quickly away from the lake shore. After a few minutes walking, you come to a strange stone that was, as the woman Galisa described, crudely carved, it seemed, and hacked as if it is maybe a dragon's head or some kind of serpent.
I turn to Arthur. Is this a work of the roundsmen?
I don't know.
You do now.
Thank you. This is older than our ways. Scare us.
Older? Then who made it?
A voice comes out of the darkness. The land here is old. She strides into your lamplight. Galisa is already here. The lamplight reflects on her shiny belt buckle of her sword and dagger at her side. This world is old, Kassar, she says. Older than you, older than me. And we'll all be mud one day, she says challengingly. And what are you going to do about it? What does it matter? The people who made it, they're mud. Why is she holding a bird?
New York kind of places the bird on the ground,
Yes,
and
the
she...
people.
Go ahead, Rasamir.
The bird.
Yes, the people are mud. Dust and bones in the earth. But yet, their legacy still stands. They hack into the earth and leave their legacy imprinted upon it, carving their names into its face. All men are ephemeral, but their works may well be rendered eternal.
She looks at you and laughs. We are all forgotten in the end. That's all I know. She leads you along a small trail, and you find that behind the rock, she has kindled a flame against it that is hidden expertly, so that you suspect that she is used to living covertly in these forests. A small tent is pitched.
Vera places the bird down, and she walks over to the woman, and she holds out this dagger that she has, and she says, "Did you know this old man? I think this belonged to him. He was in the river."
Then he's mud.
Yes, she points to the bird, and she says, "I think that was him too. We need to eat it in honor of him, but I don't even know his name."
What is she babbling about? Is she always like this?
She is a child of the Rarn. I am unfamiliar with their ways.
She is crazy, is what she is.
Perhaps. I turn to Arthur. Do you have any idea what she's talking about?
I'm afraid I was not here for the last two. What was said? Forgot to say BRB.
Galisa is the woman who Rosamir has challenged you to fight, has turned up, and
Oh yeah, I remember her turning up.
they've had a conversation, and essentially she's wondering why the hell Navir is carrying around a large seagull, and Navir has explained that she thinks that it's a dead person's soul and that you ought to eat it out of honor for him, but Galisa is plainly scoffing at this, frankly.
I do not understand, friend, entirely. I can't always understand her accent either. But I believe she is being honest. And it certainly matters to her. And so it matters to me.
Well, it has been a while since we had a good meal.
Indeed. And what harm could come from eating the bird, even if it isn't an honor eating?
Navira will begin to
Dude.
prepare the bird, like plucking the feathers.
Is the bird even edible?
You can eat it.
You said their old man's soul, wasn't it? How?
He died and he became the bird. I seen it. I seen everything.
I turn to Arthur. Do the Rarnsmen usually eat their dead?
One moment.
It's certainly a new concept for you. If they do.
Yeah. Remember what Natasha, the nice lady, said about keep not telling everybody what you can see?
No, you don't understand. You're not eating our dead. But he's because of nature. You got to eat him.
Yes.
Don't you
That's
know
fine.
Hunter's honor? Don't you
Yes.
have that if nothing else?
I know Hunter's honor. What I mean is your sight.
I don't
You're-
understand what you mean. We already left that place. It's gone. It's over.
But the danger has not over. You put yourself and us at risk.
I got to do it right.
Perhaps maybe once we get to more populated places, you should not chase around giant birds and then eat them.
Ain't just no ordinary bird.
Wait, says Galisa, turning the bird over with her foot, or at least the wing that Navira's not plucking. Are you telling me, girl, that this is one of those Sharon things? She
Yeah.
recoils.
You understand why we have to eat it?
What is a Sharon?
Galisa looks at you. I don't believe it. You are all as green as grass. They are the spirit animals of the forest.
Spirit animals, explain.
They live across the river. Not supposed to be able to go across it. I don't know much about them. New in this land, like I said, but I know the Ransmen like to eat them. Not me.
I turn to Arthur. Explain, Ransman. What is she talking about?
Let me just.
I know that. I know everything. I've seen it all already.
What do you need explaining?
What is this about spirit animals?
Sharons. Hmm. Hmm. Well,
Did you see the whisper I sent you?
yeah, I saw it.
Galisa looks at from Arthur to Nuvira to Rosamir. It's plain it's one of their secrets. I've heard it said they eat these Sharons and they can gain powers. And I don't want.
Okay, look, okay. Are the Sharons the animals that we kill in those?
Yes.
Yes, they are. Right. Okay. I was just trying to remember that.
Yeah, they are. Well, you won't catch me eating no spirit animal.
I am not sure my god would approve of consorting with spirits. I do not think the Maw would approve of such a thing. Out of character, would the Maw approve of such a thing?
It's hard to know, but as long as you're consuming the spirit and gaining power from it, probably the more would consider that something worthy and noteworthy. But it's hard to know because your people haven't come across Sharons many times before. If they have, the knowledge is lost.
I see. I am uncertain of spirit animals. I will stick with some of the cheese for now.
Well, the idea of spirit animals giving you powers when you eat them, that's odd, but interesting.
Careful, I turn to Yelena. You do not know what would happen. It might be fine for the Ransman, but who knows what would happen if the Vas tried to eat it. Or the Kossar tried to eat one.
Yelena just shrugs. Well, either way, I believe my appetite for today has been, thoroughly ruined.
You should still eat something. I break off a piece of cheese and hand it to her. After pounding on it with the hilt of one of my scimitars because it's probably rock solid.
She's just gonna reluctantly nibble away.
Yeah, indeed, Rosamir. This is the kind of cheese you get in both your land and this one is the kind that has to be soaked in milk for hours before it's edible. But you have learned to gnaw at the damn stuff on the trail, and it's you managed to do so.
Nivea sort of looks up as she's plucking to Rosamir and she says, "That doesn't have to clean you handed to you. You didn't take too much from those people, did you?"
They gave nothing they could not afford to lose.
How much did they give you?
Enough to pay the boatman that there was a little left over.
She sort of squints at Rosamir. "I told you to be nice to those people."
I was. They gave me extra on their own volition.
It's gonna come back to you. It's gonna hurt you. It always catches up to you.
I am a servant of them all. I will fear no wicked spirits of this forest, so long as my faith preserves me, and I am careful not to eat their animals.
It comes and it goes. I've seen it all. I know it all and I know nothing.
What a strange child.
Yeah, no kidding, says Galisa. So, big man, come first light. You ready to fight? She says, challenging Arthur with her eyes.
How long is it, by the way, until sunrise?
Well, it was midnight. The boat ride took about an hour and a half. So it's quite a few hours till sunrise. It's about 4 or 5 this time of year.
We may as well get some sleep for now. Come first light.
I shall be fighting you come morn.
Good, she says. Get some sleep, if you can. She begins She begins sharpening her inordinately large sword.
Nivea has a 2-person tent. Does anyone else have a tent?
No.
Oh, let me check. No, I don't think anybody else has a tent. I turn to Elena. You should go stay with the child in the tent. It would be unfitting for you to lie out in the open.
Elena just nods in agreement. Before that, I will take a little walk. I think it would be good to get some non-fishy air.
I will go with you. I cannot
No.
leave you alone. It's
I
too
will be-
dangerous.
I will be but a few moments. I need to clear my mind. You stay here with them, Rosie.
As you desire.
Okay, take a 5-minute break, people.
Right, I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. Hey, Stephen,
Hmm.
what would be the proper funerary rites to be carried out by a Bajoran on an ovate? I know they have like a sky burial thing, but
They do. So what you would do is how it's usually done is a platform is built at the top of a. Well, in the citadels, they have places right at the top of the tower where the sky burials are conducted. But if you're out in the open away from the citadels, I guess you build a platform high up in a tree and then either winch the body up or whatever. It's quite a rigmarole, actually. Um, most ovates don't end up being afforded this offer, this honor. Their bodies are burnt usually because people don't consider them failures.
well, the maw makes it clear what must be done, and I will see to it. I'm still technically a priest, so
Yes.
I'll see that proper rites are done. Besides, I would have just dumped the body somewhere if I wanted to dispose of it. You've gone through this much trouble, might as well see it through.
Indeed.
Any sort of prayers or anything else that need be offered?
Technically, the Magi. The Magi are of quite a different race to the Bajars and the Kossars, because your people, you, for instance, wouldn't want the sky burial. Um, the different tribes prescribe how your or clans prescribe how your body is treated. But, most Kossars are burned. That's the way that a common Kossar would be burned, and the way also that the Moor um, is placated. A burnt offering usually at his shrine. So that's what usually happens. But ovates, magi, are largely of a different race, it's believed, or they have some strain of some bloodline that is different.
I see. Out of curiosity, how would the cult of the moon dispose of their dead?
You'd probably be burnt by the light of a full moon at the shrine of the Great Bear.
I see.
And if that can't happen, the funeral would anywhere basically where there's a full moon, and an offering of a ritual offering of a bear would be an appropriate thing to link. And if you basically burn the holy symbol with within a bear corpse, it is believed by your cult that that your spirit will find its way back to your people and be reborn.
I see.
Yelena, are you there?
She's muted, so
Yeah,
she
she's got her
can't hear you.
headphones deafened.
She'll be back in a sec then. Sup, Steph?
I'll just have to calm myself down.
Everything
Oh,
okay?
gosh.
Yeah, I'm fine. I just let myself get worked up. I had no idea what to. I basically got worked up when, asked, explain the law, and I couldn't remember anything. And then by the time Steve whispered, info to me,
Yeah.
I was so worked up I couldn't say it anyway.
It's okay.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
No problem.
Are you there, Steven?
Yep.
Nuvir will examine that dagger too and see, like, is there anything special about it?
It's an iron dagger, wound round with copper wire round a leather hilt, with a semi-precious stone in the hilt. It looks like something that either the guard won in a drinking contest, or it was the old man's and they stabbed him with it and didn't bother to look at it. Either way, you're surprised that this weapon was so easily given up. It's it's not exactly a common or garden dagger, but neither is it, something that belonged to a princeling. But if you wanted to buy this, you'd double the price that you'd find in the PHB.
And it's iron too. Does iron have normal stats or is it reduced still?
It has normal stats except that it breaks on a 20, on
Okay.
a 1 rather.
How long would it take Nuvira to prepare the bird? I imagine it would take a while. Like, she might need to just start it tonight and then sleep and prepare it in the morning, sort of thing.
Have you got survival?
Mm-hmm.
Then
I have
Dressing
Outlander,
it.
actually. So.
yeah, dressing a bird for eating would probably take 1.5 to 2 hours, even having to pluck it. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on how careful you're going to be. If you want to save the feathers, then it'll take you longer. You know that Sharon body parts can actually have virtues bound into them that can be useful, but you're no expert, so it's hard for you to know.
Well, she'll save the feathers if she thinks they have some value.
Okay, then it's going to take you about 2 hours to
Okay.
dress this beast ready to be cooked.
So maybe she'll prepare it like somewhat tonight and then sleep, and in the morning, for breakfast they can have it.
When was the last time you ate a Sharon?
I don't remember. How about
Better
you?
have been. Well, that's weird. People of this realm, we need to eat one every month.
We've been traveling a long time. It's messed with my sense of everything. I only ever lived in one place.
Well, you don't seem to have withered away. You must have eaten one within a month.
Maybe the spirit sent it to us. For a reason.
Maybe. Good kill.
As Rosamir finishes gnawing on his piece of cheese, he gets up and walks over to Arthur and sits down next to him. Landsman, you say your name is Arthur, yes?
Aye.
I thank you for your aid and your discretion. He hands him like 10 pieces of silver. And thanks for your aid in this matter.
As you know, you've hired me to aid you and bring you to,
Erland.
Erland, yes. Bring you to Erland, where you shall be safe. This is my duty.
Yes, but those who fulfill their duties well deserve reward, yes?
Depends what reward you seek. Reward of fulfilling one's duty is often enough. Maybe not to. Maybe not to some people. Maybe not to some people.
Galisa looks at you. You are going to have an empty belly, Ransman, if you think like that.
They are a strange people, but for some reason I think I'm beginning to like them, so...
We do not starve ourselves, but we feed ourselves by hunting. Just like you, I'd imagine.
Rosamir also takes 5 silver pieces and hands them to Navera.
She just shakes her head. I don't want it. It's not clean.
You did good to get the boat.
It ain't clean. I don't want it.
He kind of looks at it. What are you kidding me? These are polished silver.
She just sort of turns her head and she says, I seen it. I know it's ain't right to take it.
Yeah, fine. More for the rest of us then.
Is Yelena back?
It would appear not.
She's still deafened.
You might want to message her directly in chat. Archer took the coins, right?
Sorry?
Archer took the coins, yeah.
Well, you held... Yes, he did.
Okay, just making sure, so I can keep accounts.
So, who's the body? Says Galisa. I hope you didn't kill anyone I know.
No, she was already dead. She was a prostitute. Or at least that's what she was doing at the time of her death.
That is a strange person to go dragging a corpse around for.
Ah, but she wasn't always a prostitute. Her markings indicate that she was an ovat.
Galisa looks studied, as if this is of no matter to her, but you detect a glint of interest in her eyes. She clearly knows enough about your people to know what that means.
She'll be given a proper burial, one befitting her station, and then the matter will be put to rest.
Well, you can climb the tree, she shoots back before she realizes what she said, and then she clamps her mouth closed.
Fair enough. I turn to Navara. I know we do not get along that well, child, but your adaptability to climb could come in handy. Will you help me put the poor girl to rest?
What do you mean?
We must put her up in the tree. Let the birds have her. That is the way for someone of her station.
I didn't be able to do that.
Do not worry, I will help you. I just need you to get the rope around the branches so we can hoist her up.
You can lift me up if you need to. But I can't lift that, it's too heavy.
Do not worry, I will do the actual lifting. I just need you to get the ropes.
I guess.
Back, Yelena. Sorry.
Yelena.
Yelena.
Mima.
Yes, hello, sorry.
Cool.
I had to get some food for my little sister as well myself.
Sorry.
My bad.
Whisper to you when you have time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll actually be back in 5 minutes. I gotta finish prepping my own lunch.
Sure.
So, Nuvera,
Hi.
are you absolutely this bird is a Sharon?
It had a spirit in it. I saw it.
But you said it was also human.
It's just a guess. I seen the corpse. I thought it maybe was the same person.
Because I do not recall hearing of a Sharon being human.
It's just a guess. I think it's a little bit of a coincidence. The guy dies and then a bird shows up. It's not. How do I put it? I just seen it for what it is. I don't know if it's right or not.
Well, whatever the soul, it is a bird now.
We just need to do it right. If we eat it and it's safe, I want to send some back to Natasha. Give it to that man, Rolf. Maybe I can help him. I don't like him, but he don't deserve what's coming to him.
It's coming to him, Nuvera.
I don't know. I just seen it. He's gonna die.
A lot of people in that town are going to die.
Yes,
Some
but
die.
not like that. It ain't natural. What's coming to him?
Not natural.
No.
Tell me. I can't remember if I know about how much I know about your character. Like, I know that you're. A Gwitch. Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, people like you, do you, where are you from?
Hmm. What do you mean?
Well, I don't think you are from where I'm from. You're not from Erngard, are you?
I'm from the same area, but it's a bit complicated. Something happened with me more, and dude said I shouldn't say too much about it. You see her sort of like grasp her arms as she says that.
If this is upsetting to you, I shall ask no more.
It's just they know there's people who know about it, and they don't like me for it.
I'm sure between the two of us, we'll make sure they don't get their hands on you.
She sort of looks away and she kind of rolls up one of her sleeves, and you can see on her arm is like this like yellow and blue like bruising that's clearly been healing for a few weeks. And then she just kind of rolls it back. Like I said, they don't like me.
I guess they just don't understand you.
No, it's cause, how do I put it, me dog is different than yours. How did they send you out here? Did they trust you?
Why'd they send me here?
You seem like a good person. They sent me here because they don't like me. Good way to get rid of me.
They don't want to get rid of you. Well, someone may want to get rid of you.
I'm a bit of
But
an
I don't.
idiot, but even I know that they don't like me.
I'm here to bring you back to where I'm from. So they're not getting rid of me.
I was supposed to bring both of them back. But I don't know. I shouldn't say no more. I just want to do what's right.
I'm sorry?
I just want to do what's right.
You just want to...
I want to do what's right. The good thing.
Oh. I swear. I do not know this accent of yours.
It's what the Druids use. It's a bit thick, I think.
Just a tad. Hopefully, as time goes on, I will get to know it and understand you.
I Do you ever see it?
See what?
When you sleep, do you see it? You know what I mean?
I'm afraid I do not know what you mean.
Oh, I'm back.
Hello.
I can't explain it if you have to see it to understand. How do I put it? There's no words for it. It just is what it is. She turns her head to Rosmer and she says, "Did you see it when you came over?"
Well, I'm sorry. What did I miss?
When you came over, she points sort of towards like the horizon. She says, "When you traveled through it, the mist, did you see it?
See what?
The thing, you can't explain it. You just look at it, and it looks back at you."
There were many things in the mist. Things I cannot explain. Things that turned even my stomach. It is not a place for mortal men to tread.
I see it. I've seen all of it, but I also see none of it. You understand what I mean?
No. Of course not, child.
There's no words for it. It just is. And you look at it and you don't think anything of it. You just looking. But then you look back and you realize it's gazing at you.
I get the feeling that men such as us are not meant to understand this.
I don't understand it. I just seen it. I don't think it even understands itself. It just is.
Sorry about that.
Do either of you want any of these feathers?
Feathers? What use would I have for feathers?
They are the power of the spirits.
What power? Explain, child.
I can't explain it. It just is. It is what it's always been.
Rosomia. Oh, yes, I would love one. Thank you.
He hands you a
Yeah.
feather.
I suppose I could take one.
I
What could a feather do? He
You
reaches
asked-
out and just picks one up.
I wasn't aware of what was said about charans while I was, earlier. You asked of charans earlier. They are animals residing with spirits in them. They have magics. Eating them can give great benefits. But some charans require consuming in order for the seasons to continue. You can imagine what kind of the kind of magic that exists in such creatures. If nothing else, they are tokens of good luck.
Animal spirits. Wait on it. I'm not sure I entirely understand the ways of this place yet, but You say consuming them gives you power, yes. What sort of power?
For people who live here, we need to eat them, lest we wither and die.
You notice, as you are speaking, that the fire has burned low and several hours have passed, and yet Yelena has not returned. The sky begins to lighten in the eastern horizon, and there is no sign of your ward.
Where is she? Rosimer kind of gets up.
I fear our conversing has distracted us from your friend's whereabouts. Hopefully she has not gone far.
Hopefully.
Maybe we should look for her.
Perhaps that would be a good idea.
Galisa
However,
looks dismissive. If she can't survive here on her own, then she's dead. Like I told you, this is a land that makes us all into mud. You should have protected her better, warrior. I hope this isn't some kind of trick to back down from our jewel.
no, it is not. Do as you must with him. Then we will look for her.
Well, you better find her. And you, big man, no quitting on our deal.
Wait, he has to eat before he fights you.
It's all the same to me, girl.
Well, sun is not up yet. Should look for her first, and then come back, eat breakfast.
Do you want me to come with you? Or do you want me to finish cooking?
Across the water, at your backs, the sun rises, just cresting above the peaks. And though your side of the valley is still in shadow, the other side now is bathed in the faint pricklings of sunlight, and you see that hoarfrost has formed on the grass all around you. But there is still no sign of Yelena.
Do you know how to search for her? You hunter, aren't you, Arthur?
I am.
Then you should be able to follow her tracks.
Let's see. Which direction did she head in?
You stare at the ground. Make me a survival.
Bollocks.
You cast around for her tracks and follow a trail off into the forest. Do the rest of you go with him?
Of course I go with him. She is my charge.
I guess Nuvir will go only if Arthur tells her to.
What is her name? The woman who I'm dueling with.
Galisa.
Galisa. Okay.
Let me show you her nameplate.
Chaz.
This is beginning to smell like a trick.
Well, would you care to join us?
No, I would not. That forest is dangerous. You know we are on the east side. She cocks her eyebrows as if you should know the significance of that. And you do recall that the ban on the Fae is that they may not pass the eastern or southern marches of the Great River, of which this is a branch.
Nuvira, would you mind keeping an eye on Galisi for me?
Aye?
And an eye on the bird, of course.
I need to
You
cook
better,
it.
you better not be trying to palm this girl off on me.
I'll fight you myself if I have to.
Now that I would pay to watch.
As would I. Come on, Samir, let's try and find your friend.
Right. Once we're a ways away, I turned to Arthur. She better not be dead. It would have made all of this trip for nothing.
You stalk off into the forest, following a trail. But after half an hour, Arta, you discover that the scuffs in the ground that you've been following are those of a deer and not a human being, as you catch clear sight of some tracks, and you realize that you've probably gone off in the wrong direction. Cursing, you turn and retrace your steps when you hear the crunching of branches some way away, and you see Yelena, her cloak covered in hoarfrost, moving out of the trees.
Rosamir rushes over to her.
By now, the
What
sun
happened?
is
I'm in
rising.
pitch black.
What happened? Are you alright?
Yeah, Mercy?
Bing.
You, yeah, I'm fine, but I've just had
Dude,
a really...
you're really soft.
hold on. That should be slightly better.
Nice.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just... her hands are pretty much shaking at this point, but less out of the temperature being pretty cold, more... She looks quite shaken, sort of stumbling over her words.
Let's get her back to the fire. And safety.
You, that.
Rosamir takes off his cloak and puts it on her, and kind of takes her by the shoulder and leads her on.
Alright, Rosie, that...
We need to
You
get
won't
her out of
believe
the
what
forest.
I saw.
You can tell me later. For now, you're covered in ice.
Huh? Oh, wait, right, yes.
We should get you by the fire. You can explain then.
Of course.
You have to be careful.
Just lead the way.
As Nuvira cooks up the bird, she's going to prepare part of it as like a jerky sort of thing.
Very well. You see the others coming back, and Galisa seems pleased. Well, it looks like our fight won't be delayed too long then, big man.
Aye. If you forgive me, I'd like to eat before our fight.
You're only delaying the inevitable, big man. But eat away.
But, sits.
The smell coming off the bird is strange.
For me as well.
Aye.
Miss Helena, you should have some of this.
Alright. She sort of just puts out a hand.
Navira will hand her a portion.
She's a.
Rosamir grabs her hand. Are you sure about this?
Yes.
She needs it?
It can't be that bad, right? I'll be fine, Rosie. Just. I need some time. Maybe the food will help.
You, I point to Nevera. Eat it first.
Navira's already eating some, so.
Which part are you eating, Nivea?
She's probably eating, like, I guess the breast. She's probably not cooking, like, the guts and stuff.
Indeed, of course not. So you've turfed the organs and entrails away, have you?
She probably has them in, like, a bag that she's gonna bury as part of, like, a funeral for this. I think in other situations she might have other uses for it, but considering the circumstance.
Mm-hmm. Who's eating it?
Barter is.
Navira.
Elena.
Each of you roll me 1d20.
Boy.
Oh dear.
Classic stuff. I really hope one is good for you.
Oh crap. Be right back. Sorry about that.
All abilities have been assigned. Boons and names.
Okay.
Hold on. Is this something we innately know how to do, or?
Yep. You just, as soon as you eat and digest it, you suddenly hear a sound across the water, and you can see through the eyes of something that is basically skimming across the water, and you can taste the lake as whatever it is puts its beak below the water and catches a fish and then soars up into the sky.
Navira's keeping a close eye on Yelena as she eats.
Alright, well, Elena's gonna use the, new ability to, summon a bird. So it blows a shrill whistle.
Yelena bows her head, and then suddenly, alighting atop this pillar, you see a seagull as vast as the one you killed, perhaps vaster. It looks down at you all, unconcerned, but its one eye is always fixed on Yelena.
She sort of holds out her arm
The
so that
bird,
the bird can fly.
the bird flutters down as if it is a pet.
He's still slightly dazed and sort of absentmindedly sort of strokes it.
The bird looks at you sideways, but it does not flee. It disgorges some fish on your arm as if it's feeding one of its hatchlings.
Ugh, what a disgusting creature.
Yelena isn't phased, she just continues petting it.
The creature
Careful.
stares balefully at Rosamir as if he's dinner.
Careful. The thing might have some sort of disease.
No, it's fine, Rosie. It's fine.
This is what happens when you eat strange meat.
Oh, I suppose stranger things have happened today, I guess.
What happened?
I sort of remember there was a tree and well, standing stones, and it's all very surreal. I
take
don't.
both my hands and place them on her shoulders and look her directly in the eyes and then lower my voice so hopefully only she can hear. Do I still sense it when I touch her?
Less now, but yes, it's still there.
When you have a moment, come with me. We'll talk in private. I sense something about you that is very different.
Yelena just nods. Continues petting the bird.
It looks contented, if slightly outsized.
You will be pet and you will like it. Got vomited on by a bird.
Rosamir kind of reaches out and tries to poke the bird with a finger.
It snaps at you and extends its wings to a, it's like 1.5 meter wingspan and starts beating its wings at you. It's not a fan of you for some reason.
Yeah.
Behave.
It
Don't
seems to react to other people like they're just the way a natural bird would.
Yeah.
There, don't hurt Rosie. He's a friend. Yeah.
Well,
friend.
says Galisa, finishing sharpening her dagger, this just goes to prove what I always said to you. It looks like your friend is the only one back there who has a brain. What the hell is this? Anyway, come on, big man.
Very well.
Would you like a back rub? Or shall we get started?
He's gonna beat you?
Don't pick me up too much. You haven't seen me fight.
He's big and strong. He's gonna do it. He's a Ronson.
Galisa stretches like a cat. And, so, what'll it be, big man? Which weapons?
Well, I doubt we're going for a fight to the death sort of thing.
First blood.
Yeah. I pull out my 2 scimitars and toss them before either's feet. Use these.
I do not know how to use this.
Or are we
It's all
talking
this-
about a spear fight here?
Just how the
It's all
squad
this-
go?
If
Your
it's all
people
the
do
same-
not have swords.
If it's all the same to you, I'll use my spear. You want to see
Yeah.
how good I am in a fight?
I go up and pick up the scimitars and put them back. A peasant's weapon, but go ahead.
Galisa pulls a staff out of her tent and then tips it with something and binds it and quickly lashes it. Spear it is then, big man. Are you ready?
Just one quick. It is +1 to the characteristic, isn't it?
Yep.
It changes nothing. Very well. Yeah, very well. Aye.
Very well.
He moves away. He steps away from the fire.
Galisa begins stretching and circling. You see her muscles rippling under her makeshift armor. It is apparent to you by her stances that she's trying to work out something about you. She shifts this way and that, pivoting on her heel, and she seems to be studying your responses.
Arthur remains relatively still and just follows her with his eyes. Great. He has a ready stance, but he is remaining still.
Understood. She moves backwards and forwards for a second, and then suddenly closes in and strikes. You fend it aside easily.
Ah!
Stab back, but she knocks it aside. Oh, not bad, big man, she says.
Get some water. You can get it.
She steps back in, attempts to wrong foot you, and then strikes.
Okay, her name is now Cultist.
What the hell happened there? I think I might have clicked a drop down by accident.
Is that a Freudian? No, that's not what a Freudian slip is. But is it?
No, it's not a Freudian slip.
Saw nothing.
A
Oh, an 11
Lovecraftian
misses.
slip.
An 11 misses.
Very well. The spear slides over your shoulder and she gives you an opening. She knocks your clumsy side aside and whacks you on the backside with the haft of her spear. This good job is not first touch, big man. Come on, she says, and she strikes at you with the speed of a snake. It is apparent to you when the way she wields a spear, you can tell she's not used to the weapon.
Just for the hell of it, I'll go two-handed.
All right.
Arthur grabs the spear with two hands.
Very well. You smack Galisa right round the head, and she goes flying into a bush and
Hey.
comes out spluttering.
That's how you do it?
She
There's not
comes
much-
out. She comes out. Not bad, big man. How about we go with swords? Best of three?
And Rosimer takes out the scimitars and tosses them in front of the two.
I don't ain't no Jesse. He's a roundsman.
How about if it goes to the third round, we each use our own weapon?
All right, big man. Agreed.
Very well.
She draws
So-
out a curved tulwar and a sort of strange crooked knife of a type you've not seen before. But she binds cloth around the end of both of them.
What is the... Oh, it doesn't matter what the damage is it?
Well, Arnsman, pick up the sword.
Arthur picks up the sword.
Are you taking both or just one?
Yeah, I'll pick up...
Because they're both light, so you can double hand them.
yeah. What is the negative effect on the second one?
There isn't one, as long as they're both light.
Oh. Very well.
Very well. Galisa comes in and attacks you, aiming for your head, and then stabs at your gut. Does the first attack hit?
Yeah.
Very well. She swacks you in the side of the head and laughs. You are not good with the sword, it seems. Let's see who wins the third bout.
Dropping the scimitars and drawing his spear again, Arthur lunges with both hands. Ah!
She just about manages to get out of the way, and she strikes. She smacks Arthur in the side of the head, and he goes flying into her tent. She says, I win, so pay up. But your friend, he's not bad, just not used to the stances and guards of my people. Good footwork. Needs some training, though.
Yes.
If you like, little man, I can train your friend. I'd like to learn some more of that spear work.
Perhaps we could arrange that. I could certainly use him being more competent in his job. It's never a bad thing to have capable warriors.
Oh, thank you, Navira.
Galisa pats you down. You notice that there is some more respect in her eyes than there was before, but it's still as if the rest of them don't really exist.
That was a good fight.
It
You are strong.
was. I am, but I'm also sneaky, and your problem, Ransman, is you are too open. You telegraph what you're going to do. Your shoulders move. It's obvious where you're going to strike. I'm rusty with a spear, I'll admit. I reckon you could teach me something with that, but with swords, ooh, you're going to need a shield or you're going to be dead. Your left side, you could drive a cart through that defense. But I like your spear thrust, that's dangerous. Almost ran into it. So, where are you headed now? Have you given her the silver?
Oh, give her a silver?
I believe there was a wager.
Yes. Ah, right. I take out a silver piece and hand it to her.
Now this, she says, as she takes the silver, is the first real pain I've seen today. A Kossar parting with silver. And that's after I've whacked you over the head twice, big man, she says. And she winks at you. Okay, I'm gonna forget I saw the seagull and the dead girl. If you want the services of Galisa, look me up at the Hunter's Lodge.
Wait,
Sometimes you can find me down in Rathland.
I see. By the way, where is this hunter's lodge?
Other side of the river, about 2 days travel down. You'll
I
see it.
see.
You know this river? These two will tell you, but river up this far, not always navigable. People take boats, have to pull them out, called portage, and they have to drag them. Lots of falls and rapids. Second set of rapids, that's where the Hunter's Lodge is.
I see.
I wouldn't travel on this side of the lake or river either. I just chose a dragon stone because it's easy to find. And besides, I like the danger.
you know Natasha, yeah?
I do, little girl.
I
She's a nice lady.
She is? Could you give her this? And she holds out some of the jerky she has packed up, and she says, "Tell her it's for Rolf. She'll know, and tell her who gave it to you. She'll know what it means."
Elisa studies the meat for a second. You are a strange one, little girl. But what harm can it do?
Thank you.
She puts it in her pack and begins packing up her tent and things. Well, strangers, nice taking silver of you.
It was good meeting you. You fight like a real landsman.
I am not one yet. Oh,
She looks at you. I don't think so, little girl. But you don't know much about fighting.
I could beat you.
You're a bold one and no mistake. Maybe next time, little girl. I'm in a good mood. And she tosses the silver up in the air, and she hoists her pack over her shoulder and begins hiking up the trail the same way that Yelena came from earlier on. Be seeing ya!
Maybe I will wave, and she looks at the others and she says, "We need to find a place to get some rest. No one of us got any sleep last night."
We need to find a place for the body first.
my apologies.
Rosimer's kind of looking around at the trees, trying to see in the canopy if there's a suitable one.
Speaking of which, she takes the guts of the seagull and she sort of puts them in front of the dragon stone. And she just she just kind of dumps out all of them all in front of it. And then she sort of gives a prayer in front of the stone.
Very well.
So what should I do to look for a tree?
Give me a survival check, please.
I am sorry, Rosamir, for losing that bet for you. What are you looking for?
I must find a tree suitable for the body.
Sorry, what was that?
I must find a tree for the body. We must
Well-
hoist her up into the tree and let the sky claim her.
I don't think you're going to find one down there. take it you're being whispered.
Navira will go over to the body and she'll take like a finger and take some of the blood and rub it onto the dragonstone at the base.
The same thing happens.
I think we should rest the body here. If you want to hang it, I don't know if we can hang it on the dragonstone, but it seems like a place of rest.
Would that be a sacrilege to put it on the Dragonstone?
Who knows what deity the Dragonstone is allied with?
No.
Though you've heard there are no gods in this land, so perhaps it doesn't matter. It's hard to know.
She is a child of the Maw. She must be presented as is proper of that.
Aye, if that's what you wish. But, this dagger, you don't have any problem if I leave it here?
Do as you will, it is your dagger now.
Does the Dragonstone have any sort of area where there might be like for offerings, or is it just like completely circular?
It doesn't look like there's any niches, but when you look around the base, you suspect that at one time a discolored patch of ground on the front side of it facing the lake was probably a stone altar there, but it looks like either time or mankind or some other force has worn or taken it away.
He'll put the dagger there and give a prayer to the dead.
Very well.
And leave it.
Rosimer is going to walk over to Yelena. And he's going to put his hand on her shoulder.
Oh god.
I do not know what the meat did to you, but you must come to your senses. Come with me. Help me find a tree. We can talk then.
Elena just sort of nods. She still looks a bit confused by everything that's happened so far.
Is she okay?
I'm not sure.
The gull flies into a tree, a large pine tree nearby, and as it alights, you'll realize that this tree would make it is very tall and straight, and actually has strong limbs. It'd probably be a good place to hoist the body.
I see. He's going to call to Maner. Can you ping the tree?
It's what do you call it? It's up here.
Yeah.
I see.
Yes.
As Rosimer starts walking towards the tree, calls out to Navera. Child, could I borrow you for a moment?
Aye, just a moment. And as she's walking, she sort of looks over to Yelena and she like whispers into her ear and not into her ear, but like to her, and she says, "Did you see it last night?"
See, wait, you know what that was?
I don't know what it is. I just know when I sleep, I see the mist. And you see, I don't know how to put it. There's no words for it. It just is what it is. The others, they don't know what it is. I don't know what it is.
We need to talk about it later. Right now, right, just give me a moment to gather my thoughts. We should talk about it later.
But you can't put it to words. There's no explaining it. You've either seen it or you ain't.
She sort of just nods and sort of goes back to sort of just watching the gull again, still confused.
Navier walks over to the tree.
Does anyone have a coil of rope?
Nope, that was too expensive for my budget. I have a tent, which probably has some rope that comes for the tent, but I wouldn't use that for this, obviously.
Is anyone trained in survival?
I am trained in survival.
Very well, you know that some of these trees are spruce trees and that their roots can be quickly made into a kind of makeshift cordage quite effectively. You just
Wait,
basically pull up.
Oh, I do have 100 feet of hempen rope.
Oh, okay, so you've got it.
Okay. I'm going to drag the body up to the tree, and while she climbs up there.
Well, she's going to get either your or Artur's help to get up there. Because if someone lifts her up, it's a lot easier than climbing the base of the tree.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do. He's going to hand you the coil of rope and, like, lift you up. Here, take this, now.
She'll take the rope and, I guess, like, tie it around as best she can.
Are they coming towards us or leaving?
Leaving the area,
Right.
but they appear to be heading for your shore and also the far shore, and they seem to be full of men as well, and usually laden for boats, which is what attracts your attention, because boats leaving Kvass is not unusual, but boats full of men is quite unusual because they're usually fishing boats.
All right, there's Minerva get the rope around the branches.
Yes.
All right, then I'm gonna tie it. Let's see here. How do I want to do this? Do we have like some leather or anything? Maybe some canvas.
Does anyone have a sack?
I don't have any extra sacks right now.
No.
I have a water skin. I have 3 water skins.
Not big enough. Probably the thing to do then is to make like a bower out of the branches of a tree. Lash them together. It'll take some time though to make one that would hold a person.
What roll would that be?
Survival. Roll me 1d6. Okay, it takes you 30 minutes to lash together a reasonable looking bower. You do it quite quickly. By this time, Arthur, you see that one boat has landed on the opposite side of the lake and one has landed on your side, perhaps a mile away, up to the north.
Okay. I was planning on warning everyone before they got here. I didn't realise 30 minutes was going to pass that quickly. Okay. Well, there are boats leaving Kvass. They are headed this way, and then later,
we must
30 minutes.
move quickly.
There was one has landed a mile away.
We do not have time then. Come, a roundsman helping me with hoisting it up. Once it is up there, they will be hard pressed to find it.
And I help with this. I think this is an athletics check.
Yep.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You're not rolling well today, Steph.
When does she ever?
Oh, she does sometimes. In actual session, she does. You manage to hoist the body up somewhat unsteadily, and when it gets to the top, you're just wondering how to undo the bindings when it seems that Yelena's impatience transmits itself to a seagull, and the beast lands on top of the corpse and begins unthreading the rope with its beak. It tosses it down to you contemptuously before taking back to wing and landing on her shoulder. You hear the sound of dogs in the distance.
We need to get out of
Right,
here.
we gather up the stuff, and we head out.
Very well. How are you traveling? Swiftly, stealthily? Are you attempting to conceal your tracks? What are you doing?
We need to conceal our tracks.
Very well.
We need to conceal our tracks, move off of their path, and then hopefully they pass us. The chances of them stumbling into us if they can't follow our tracks is quite small.
Right. You take care of that roundsman. It will only be a moment.
Navir, I can help with hiding tracks.
As you guys are putting the tracks down, I just take a couple minutes. Rosmer takes a couple minutes to just sort of bow his head, and you start hearing this like kind of chanted prayer, almost like sort of a throat singing type thing.
I'll be leaving you with that then. This foe is beyond any of you. No, that's the wrong part.
Actually, this is the running bit.
Yeah, I know, this is the running bit.
Right. After I finish, yeah, let's get going.
Hopefully you'll have music muted, Ellie.
I have tabletop audio on in the background. So. And I have
Right,
our game music muted, so.
Right.
I think
That's
the
good.
part where we run.
Yes.
Yes.
Who's hiding the tracks?
I take it that's survival to cover
It
our
is
tracks.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
Navira can help or do it.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah, maybe we have more than one person doing it. Okay.
Navira will be doing it. If anyone else wants to, they can.
Wait, we can. Wait, can all of us see the what you call it, the boat full of men?
You
Yeah,
could,
we-
yeah. It's just that you were busy.
All right.
Well, I pointed them out earlier anyway, so
All right,
Yeah.
so we're just gonna look at the goal meaningfully and sort of look at the direction of the men.
The gull, catching your meaning, soars across the water and heads in their direction.
All right. So,
As usual, you can see in your. It's almost as if you're both here and somewhere else at the same time. You can see through the creature's eyes as it soars into the air. Below you, the men and their hounds look like tiny little dolls running across a miniature landscape.
they heading? Which
They appear to be
direction?
they appear to be following a trail, and then you realise, as the gull swoops lower, that you can see a mark in the sand where the boatman dropped you last night. And suddenly the hounds give tongue and begin surging forward.
Uh-oh. Yeah, she's sort of gonna break out her stupor and go, we need to leave.
yeah.
They're coming. I'll explain later. Let's just start moving, and she's sort of starting grabbing her stuff. Sort of fastens her cloak again. And sort of starts grabbing up their supplies and stuff.
Very well. You grab what little stuff you have and begin taking to your legs. Arthur and Nuvira hang back and attempt to cover your trail.
Hmm.
Give me survival checks, please.
Oh.
Arthur, you remember that there's a plant that if dogs sniff it, it actually paralyzes their nose a little bit and makes them far less effective trackers. It is a water plant, and you cast around for some and find, indeed, it's a hemlock water droplet. And you cut a piece of rope, which definitely has Rosomere scent on it, and sprinkle some of the juice of this plant, being careful not to get any in your skin. And then you dust out your trail and begin following the others, disappearing off into the pine trees. Nuvira checks your tracks as you go, and the hounds break into the open about half a mile away. Are you continuing to track them, Yelena, with the goal?
Yeah, so we could keep half a mind to it.
Very well. How high do you find you can influence the beast's behavior? How high do you want it to be? Very high, or is it swooping down lower?
I think I'm gonna keep it at its current height, so not too close, not too far away.
Right. Make me a perception roll at +6, so just roll d20 + 6.
Right,
As the goal swoops down, you see that there are about 7 or 8 men with as many hounds, but dragging right at the rear of the party is someone being pushed along in a cloak. It appears to be a woman, but you can't see who it is. Certainly there are wheels on her arms and hands, as if she's been ill-used. You cannot see her face.
I'm sort of gonna convey what I see to the others as we're sort of licking it.
Licking it.
That's what we're doing, aren't we?
How opposite? Yes, you're definitely licking it.
What direction is the wind blowing? Is it towards us, against us, to the side?
Give me a d8. It is blowing from the northeast.
Gotcha. So it's kind of to the side of us then.
Yep. So basically, it's not helping the hounds to track you at the moment.
I think Nuvira is going to take some of those feathers out and sort of rub them against like the sweat on her face, and then kind of scatter them into the wind if the wind is heavy enough for that.
Give me a wisdom saving throw. Interesting. Intriguing. Very well. As you start running, the cloud of feathers seem to trail behind you, almost as if they're like a living thing. And they seem to mark your path even better than you would before, occasionally dropping down. As time goes on, the trail begins to peter out as more and more feathers are dislodged. But by then, it seems that you have seeded a trail for some mile or more. And it's not until the gull sees the men come to the trail that you realize that this might not be such a bad thing, because the hounds begin yipping and jumping around and trying to catch the feathers and completely ignore the trail. And the hunters basically start hitting them and slapping the sides of their heads to get them back on track. But they just basically end up gamboling and chasing the feathers in all directions. And they lose quite a lot of time.
Puppy, no.
Just at this moment, your gull soars down, and one of the men, a big-armed brute who you've not seen before, pushes the woman to the ground, and her cloak falls back, and you see that it is the innkeeper, Natasha.
Oh, that. Well, yeah, Elena's revealing this sort of betrayal to the party.
Yelena rushes forward breathlessly and conveys this to the rest of you. They have Natasha!
Wait,
Then they know who we are.
if they have it, then don't that mean we need to sell?
How do we do that? How many men are there?
7.
And their dogs. There is no way we can take them.
Not and what is to stop her from, revealing us again?
She's likely already revealed us.
Either way,
Do
we
not-
can't trust her.
Do not hate her. They could have killed her husband. They might have burned down the building. You do not know what they did to her to make her speak.
Yes, but it will probably be far more pleasant than what they will do to us if they get their hands on us.
Very well. Very well. Everyone make me con saves.
Oh no.
Thank God I don't have disadvantage.
Very well. You continue running, and your muscles begin burning in your lungs also. And before long, you're all beginning to tire, but it appears that the hunters are also tiring as well. And so they do not gain on you, but they do not appear to give any ground. And you because you're trying to be cautious, you do not put any more distance between yourself and them, although occasionally you can hear them going off in the wrong direction. But the hounds are relentless, and it seems that nothing will throw them off your track.
Alright, I've got...
What does the surrounding area look like?
Stop.
The surrounding area is deep pine trees next to quite large cliffs that drop down towards the river. And the problem you have is quite a lot of the time, when you go off into the more rocky areas, you find a pine cliff that drops like 30 feet. So it's like you're being gradually channeled, because these ridges run in sort of bands that go along the side of the river. And there's always this chance that at some point you're going to come to a cliff and you can't actually go any further.
How easy is it to spot these cliffs before you're right on top of them?
It's not easy at all. It's some of the cliffs are really quite abrupt.
Alright, well...
Perhaps we could use these to our advantage.
I think Irina wants to say something.
Go ahead.
I don't know if this will work, but I believe I could bluff them into not chasing us. I'm not... It's a risk, but it's better than being chased constantly.
What do you mean?
It's over.
How would you bluff them?
Well, when I sort of went for a walk, well, it's better if I just show you, and sort of Yelena's sort of gonna, for the first time try to cast, use the knowledge that was given to her and cast prestidigitation. And she's gonna create some sparks in her hand.
By the maw,
It's,
you can do magic.
It's not enough to hurt, but it might be enough to scare them away. They don't know whether I can cast.
Actually, I might have an idea. What sort of things can you do with that power?
Well, she's just gotta sort of think back, and sort of list off the things. Hold on, it's better if I just
Roll me a d20.
Oh no.
You suddenly find that your connection to your gull is lost, and you hear this enormous plaintive shrieking from the hounds, and suddenly they all begin running in the opposite direction as you summon your power. Then the connection comes back, and you can see that the gull is sparking all along its wings and out of its mouth and eyes, and it alights on a rock, and you can see the men just legging it, and they've even left Natasha behind.
Wait, they've left Natasha behind?
Yep.
Alright. I'm just sort of gonna relay what just happened. Still slightly dazed, confused as to how it happened. And sort of Well, should we go back for her?
Where did the hounds go? Did the hounds
They-
follow the men?
No,
They're
they
running.
left. I think I scared them.
So the hounds are running away as well.
Yes, definitely.
Well, I suppose that works. I was going to say trick them off the cliff, but that works too. Well, let's go get her then. Don't want her to stay in their custody. She knows too much.
Look at me.
What did he do? That
What
is
are you doing?
impressive.
I like your pajamas. You can go now. What are you doing?
I think there's something
Oh,
wrong.
that
with
looks
them.
cute. Alright, go on. Go.
I only got a puppy.
Bye, Buddy Sha.
I only got a puppy.
Bye.
Bye.
That was my little sister.
Is she talking to the girl?
No, she saw a dog.
I, what he,
Thank you.
Oh, she's
what
so
he
weird.
do?
I'm not sure. I think she's gonna try and cast prestidigitation in her hands again, sort of see if it works.
The spell is quite weak, but again, you feel that your power is flowing somewhere else. And Nuvira, as you look, you can see strange golden strands of magic peeling off Yelena, and they sort of they taper up into the air where they disappear. You see the sparking again happen on the gull in your mind's eye, and it's your vision also blanks again, and then returns after about 3 or 4 seconds, and the gull is blazing with golden fire again.
It's going up there to the skies.
She's gonna sort of nod, and she's gonna command the gull to come back down again onto her arm.
The gull soars into the air and with a massive beat of its wings scythes through the air and then lands heavily on your arm. It's still blazing with this strange fire.
Maybe we should have kept the gold there to keep an eye on Natasha.
Well, she'll. Well,
I will
we're
go
all
get
running
her.
away. It'll be fine. Wow. Yelena sort of looks slightly surprised at her own, at the cantrip. She wasn't really expecting to be able to cast ever in her life.
2 witches, eh?
I think she's charmed one of the spirits.
She is not a witch. Watch your tongue.
Then what is she? What are ye?
I don't know. It was the thing at night where it sort of reminded me. Sort of. It taught me, or did I learn it again? I'm not sure, but
Ye
I
ye
learned
always
how to
knew it?
cast 2 things. I don't know. It was someone or something I used to know, or so it said.
Oh, you see, you always knew it. You've seen everything. You just can't remember it until it's too late.
Maybe. Well, this was one of the things it taught me. So if I try to cast the other one, and she sort of aim at a general direction that no one's occupying, and sort of try to cast Eldritch Blast, see if that works.
I just realised that we let Rosamir deal with the woman. I'm going after him. And Arthur runs off after Rosamir.
You've just passed the line between Yelena and the tree when suddenly it explodes and she flies backwards. And you're all showered with wood, flecks of wood.
Ow!
Hey, what was that?
Well,
It's snowing, basically, punky bits of wood all around you. It looks like you're in a snowstorm. There's so much of it. She's pummeled this broken tree stump at the base of this tree, and it's just blasted into 1,000 swarthy like fragments of wood that are on the wind.
well, I I just figured out what that does.
Nuvira, keep an eye on her. I need to deal with Rosamir.
Hey, you got to be a little careful. That's the power of everything, of the mist.
Right. So this is all just really, really weird.
As she casts Navira, you see something strange. Surrounding her in the grass is like a swirl-like pattern, almost like the Ransmen draw on some of their designs. It's like a sort of almost a Celtic knot in the grass that appears to be lines of glowing power that radiate from her and then cross, and they appear to merge with a large tree nearby. Yelena doesn't seem to see them.
Nuvia sort of, she reaches into her bag and she takes out one of the bones from the bird that she has, and she kind of gently drops it onto the knot to see if anything happens.
You notice the bone slightly levitates above the ground for a second before its color slightly changes and it seems to absorb some of the energy, and then it part of it breaks off and shatters, but the rest lies there in the grass, gleaming as if it's coated in something.
Nuvia will carefully take it and then put it into Yelena's hand.
What is this? Apart from, well, a bone.
It has something to do with your powers. When you used them, I could see it in the ground or not. It swirled into the tree.
Swirl?
Right? And then this bone, it went into the bone. I don't know how to explain it.
Alright, she's gonna so gratefully accept it and absentmindedly so brush herself off.
As you brush yourself off, you touch the bone by accident, and it flies at supersonic speed and cuts straight through the tree nearby you and blows a hole right through it, and you can actually see daylight through the tree. The bone is basically almost exploded like a bullet.
Oh.
There's a sound like a thunderclap, and you both have to push your hands over your ears to avoid your eardrums being ruptured. And there's literally like a peal of thunder that rolls across the entire valley.
Oh, Nubira, you alright?
You can see at this point she is kind of like shaking.
Maybe it's better if you keep the bones.
Maybe.
Don't worry, I can't hurt you. I won't hurt you. It's just... Right, this is gonna take some getting used to. Oh, gosh. Why now? Why here, Rob?
Rosamir and Arthur. Rosamir's about 30 meters ahead of you, and you both see a form slumped by the side of a log, the cloak draped over her.
I go over to investigate.
You pull back the cloak, and you can feel blood in the hair of the poor innkeeper Natasha. Her arms are also similarly bruised and scabbed. She looks up and groans. Oh.
Arthur runs up. Let's go. Sorry. How is she? Oh my.
Her face is bruised.
you anything? I don't have anything that can heal her. Is there any plant life nearby? What could be used? Can I make a medicine check to try and figure out what could, if there's anything that could
I'm
help
going
with
to.
It's
Make a
nature.
nature.
It's nature.
Yeah.
Survival.
I'll make a nature check to find something.
Thank you. I rip off parts of my. What season is it?
Summer.
I rip off parts of my shirt, the arms, and try and wrap them around any wounds that are still bleeding.
Rosamir casts around and finds a shallow pool where rain has collected in a hollow, and an old upland bog has turned into a little pond. Around the edge, you find a sweet-smelling herb that you know in your homeland they use to flavour mead, but also you know it's a powerful painkiller if made into a tea. It is known as meadowsweet. Do you make the tea, Rosamir?
Yes.
Very well. Quickly you kindle flame, and with a few dry branches, and grind up some of the herb with your knife as best you can, and pop it into a bowl and heat it, and soon you have a tincture that you can give to the to poor Natasha, whose breath is laboured. I'm sorry. I tried to hold out, but they threatened Neva.
Shh. Don't exert too much of your energy. Preserve it. Breathe.
Just drink. I offer her the tincture.
She drinks hesitantly, but then some colour returns to her cheeks. She sits up stiffly. The second patrol came round. They wanted to know where you were. I don't even know if they thought you had anything to do with it. Maybe there is a tavern keep. He has wanted my inn for years. He said he saw one of you leave. They just used this as an excuse to hurt me.
Forgive me. What of your husband?
Neva fainted clear away, so they left him. I don't think they have done him any harm.
Lucky old sod. How do you feel?
Like a giant has smashed me.
Stupid question, I guess.
She smiles thinly. You were huntsman.
I'm guessing that I'm guessing that it'll be quite difficult for you to go back now.
I'm not going back. Not after what they did. I'll have to get my husband, and then we'll go. We'll find somewhere. Don't worry. Maybe when I'm better, I can write to the Tsarina and beg for her to reinstate our inn.
Somehow I doubt she would be so forgiving.
I fear you are right.
Perhaps you should try to set up shop elsewhere. The Hunter's Lodge might be a choice.
First, I must find Neva. Then, we will seek solace in the Rans. Maybe they will take us in.
Perhaps.
Hmm.
When you find them, you are welcome to travel with us if you need to.
You are kind. We should leave. I don't remember what happened, but suddenly one of them threw me and I hit my head on a rock. But they were afraid. But they will come back soon, surely.
That is true. Startled men will collect themselves in time. We had always get moving.
I don't know. You saw what they ran away from. But yes, just in case. How will you get your husband?
I do not know. I do not know. She
Do you
begins.
know?
She begins looking tearful.
Do you know where he is?
They threw him into the boathouse.
Back in the city.
I
Hmm.
have to go back. They might kill him. Just for fun.
If you go back, you will only both end up dead.
This seems to give her sudden strength. I don't care.
We will encounter. Later today, we should encounter the boatman Sven. I will see if he cannot help your husband. Perhaps if I give him a few coins to pass on to the spiders, they could create an opening.
You know of the boys?
Yes. I have
It's cr-
utilized their services a couple times now.
It might work. Thank you, sir.
When he is returned to you, you should both, for now you should go wait at the Hunter's Lodge. Once we have your husband, we will meet you there.
Very well. And she sits down awkwardly. About are you Yelena and are you going to stay with the woman, or are you going to take her back to where Yelena and Nervira are?
Until you get your energy back, you stay with us. But we need to go back to our friends.
I can walk.
If you need to, you can lean on me.
Thank you, kind sir.
We walk her back to our two companions.
Very well. You're just walking back, and you see Nervira and Yelena contentedly talking to each other. They look strained, and there's something odd. There's a very wide circle of wood flecks all around them, like somebody's thrown a load of confetti up into the air and it's settled in an area about 20 meters in diameter. But that's not what holds your eyes. What holds your eyes is that in the clearing surrounding them in the trees, there are a number of what look like Satan who are moving through the forest.
I'm going to begin to draw just carefully start to draw my scimitars.
Satan.
The savage elves of this side of the forest. It is said that they take slaves and that they have warred with humans, though you know that some of the tribes that live close to the Rans are more friendly, and some are even downright helpful. but it depends on the tribe.
Well, just in case, I will quickly head towards Yelena and Nuvera.
How are they? Well, do I see them yet?
Yes.
How
You look behind you, seeing Rosamir and the others' concerned expressions, they've actually left poor Natasha, who hides behind a tree, and they're both striding towards you in great concern. So you look behind you and you see a number of elves dressed in savage furs and with weapons made of horn or bone approaching you. They have grim expressions on their face, and their faces are completely dyed red.
How are they painted?
Red faces.
How about their ears?
There's nothing on their ears. Their ears are dyed red as well.
How goes you? Arthur says in Satar.
The one of them holds up his hands, and all the other Satans stop. I see you, Ransman. You speak our language well. We come. We heard the call.
The call?
Mughal Maktal. We are called.
Do I know of this?
You've never heard of anything like this.
I look back at Nuvera and Yelena. Apparently they have been called. I'll repeat the phrase.
The Satan close in a ring around the two women, and as one, suddenly they all take a knee. Mughal. They all chant as one. There are about 15 of them.
Rosamund just looks at Arthur. What are they saying?
Yes, what is their chant, basically?
Mughal means great one.
Great one. They're calling them Great One.
Full connotation.
Who are they calling Great One? The child?
I do not know.
Hearing that, she sort of like moves between them and, well, tries to sort of shield them away, Nuvira away from them.
Maybe your hides behind your leg.
Who is the Great One?
Without speaking, the leader, the tallest of the Satan, stabs a finger out like a spear and aims directly at Yelena. Mughal Maktal.
No, there. What? No, there must be some kind of mistake.
She comes.
Rosamund kind of walks forward.
Finally, a proper reception.
I don't think this is the time for jokes, Rosamir.
Oh, I'm well aware. I do not know what these savages think of her, or why they call her the Great One, but perhaps we could use it to our advantage.
I wouldn't call them savages in front of them.
Saktana Sanna! One of them shouts from the rear, and you translate this as men coming with dogs.
We must get out of here. Men coming with dogs, they say.
How many?
How many?
The man makes some hand signs, but you don't know that part of their language. But you would guess that it is a similar party to the earlier one, or perhaps even more.
Same parties. Oh, sorry.
Mughal.
We'd be inclined to believe these, well, what am I meant to call them? And she sort of looks at Arthur.
How do Saturn elves? Okay, Saturn. Could you please? Yes.
Right. Well.
In Sat. Oh, okay. Sorry.
No. Continue.
Saturn, could you help us? We need to protect the Great One. Do you have some place we we can go to hide from these men with dogs.
How
The old
many
one-
Satan?
There are about 17, and perhaps more, because the hunter who gave the warning was not initially visible. The leader nods. This way, Great One. He speaks in Irish.
Ah,
So you do speak a language I understand.
Me only.
I see. What do you want with her?
She calls. We answer. She has come again.
This Great One, you mean?
Rosamir.
The Satan nods wordlessly and leads you this way.
Fine.
He makes some
I will
hand
go with
signs,
you.
and he makes some hand signs, and 10 hunters peel off and head back the way you've come. Two of them grab hold of Natasha, and she looks wild-eyed and afraid.
Do not worry. They seem to respect the rank of my mistress. I think you will be fine for now.
Arthur,
I say to the lead Satan,
That the woman is a friend of the Great One. Ensure she is well treated. See her to the Hunter's Lodge.
The Satan looks at you, and then he looks at the Great One, as if for confirmation.
I think Yelena just went AFK.
yeah, Yelena has visitors.
Oh, there it is.
The Satan laughs loudly, as if this is the best joke he has ever heard. But he indicates with hand motions, and 3 hunters peel off, and they move quickly towards the river, whereas they lead you away. You are never afterwards sure of how you elude the pursuers, but you hear cries in the distance and the twanging of bowstrings, and then the sound of the hounds fades, and you are led deeper into the forest. But as you do so, you are all painfully aware that you are heading east into the lands of the Fëanor. And indeed, after only a mile, you pass some ancient stone markers. You can read the language upon them because it is an ancient form of Irish that only Arthur can speak. It warns.
It what?
It warns something.
It warns something.
You just don't
You
know
are-
what it is.
You are bound by it says you are now entering the lands of the Fae. Beware, you are bound by the 10 covenants.
Ah,
The Satan do not pause, though several of them cut themselves and dab the blood upon the stone as they pass, leaving bloody handprints.
having learnt the language, do I know of this thing that the Satan are doing right now? and
You-
whether
you
it's a
know
good
that
idea to
hun-
do myself.
You know that hunters do it from the Rans, who go deep into the Fëanor.
Ah, well then I shall do the same.
Very well.
Why do they cut themselves, Ransman?
Navira will follow suit.
Do I know why, or is it just tradition?
As far as you know, it's a tradition. You don't know why anyone does it.
Hmm.
Right, as you pass the stones, you suddenly notice that all the Satan, or at least the ones at the edge of your party, they are muttering something continuously, softly under their breath. You have heard of this. The Druids say that those who transit the Fëanor must know the song of the land in order to keep the Fae at bay. And it seems that these Satan know the song of this area and are singing the song's application. They lead you deeper into the pine forests, and soon the trees cluster so thickly and are so large that you can no longer see even the smallest patch of the sky. And it is as if you have entered a resinous, pine-scented cave that seems to roll on forever. Enormous branches rake at your faces, and vast roots delve into the ground at your feet, which are huge boulders covered in moss, through which the great roots of these trees dig and bury themselves. after perhaps you've been a half a mile from the stone columns, the Saturn leader calls a halt, and he pulls aside something and delves in between the roots of the tree, and you see that there is a cavity where the huge boulders have basically not quite met together, and he leads the group inside, and the Saturn kindle resinous pine scented rushlights, and you all are enfolded in the bosom of the darkness of the cave. The leader looks you up and down. "Who are you?" he says, looking at Arthur.
I am Rainsman. I am Arthur.
He draws his hand across his chest. "Makal."
Is that his name then?
You assume so, yes. It does fit the pattern.
I put my hand on my chest as well.
"Are you a servant of the great Mogur?"
I am her companion, yes.
His eyes narrow as if this answer is somehow unsatisfactory, and he moves to the next one. "Spirit Walker."
I do serve her, Arthur says as he moves away from him.
He nods. "Spirit Walker," he says, standing before Navira. "Do you serve Mogur?"
My apologies, but I don't know the name. I just see the things. I follow the path. It goes into the sky.
The Muktal knocks eyes with one of the other Satan, and they narrow, and something passes between them as if this is a matter of some significance. He nods as if satisfied. "You serve the Great One. Corn hair," he says, indicating Rosamir.
I have been sworn to protect her since the moment she was born, and I could barely hold a blade. And I will continue to protect her. For if one of us dies, the other's life is forfeit by the traditions of our people.
That's a resounding yes.
Muktal nods, and his bow is a little deeper. Are you back, Yelena? Still muted? She's there, but muted.
Oh,
Yeah, I think she can only do text right now.
another reason
It's all right,
moving
I think
things up an hour will help.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And I think
Indeed.
this is the end of the session soon.
It
anyways,
is.
as it's
It
past
is.
9.
It is. I think we shall end the session there because the next part of it is concerns Yelena. So we shall wait until next week to discover the significance of these strange events.
Indeed.
You have a good cliffhanger, Stephen.
Yeah, I know. I like cliffhangers.
How do I type in a thumbs up?
I'm not entirely sure.
Yelena is awesome. I'm getting some. Hopefully, this won't turn out like the man who would be king.
What was their face paint again?
Their
Red.
face paint was red. You are not familiar with that tribe.
I just wanted to make it in my notes.
Yes.
Because I knew about the ones who had white ears and the ones who had white/black face
Yes.
paint.
Right. Just out of character. Are her powers permanent, or were they just for the night, like mine were? The day, like mine were.
You'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Okay.
This is why I do not eat strange meats.
Ew,
Right, I'm gonna shut down the stream. Thanks everyone for watching.
Okay.
Bye.